say yes to making it happen. With an Absa mortgage, you can finance your dream home with flexible tailored solutions. Get up to 5 million Ghana cedis with 5 to 15 years to pay back on a fixed interest rate. This year, say yes to your home sweet home. Visit an Absa Bank branch to Absa for an Absa mortgage today. Drive to Absa and blast this song while you are going. This year, my story matters, Absa. We'll bring you the news review in a bit. We're going online predominantly today.
This year will be full of testimonies, signs and wonders all around. You'll be swimming in abundance. You decree and declare.
Join the conversation on the Citi Breakfast Show on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag CitiCBS.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
Doubt and fear. There is a name you can call upon. A faithful God who won't leave you alone. When the burden feels too hard to bear, and it seems like no one really cares, lift your voice, heaven hears your cry. Help is on the way, don't you deny. From his holy place he will respond. Strong tower, may he send you help from his sanctuary and give you strength in your weakest hour. When you call, he will hear you, he will never let you fall.
Indeed, when we call, he will hear us and he will never let us fall. That's why we are gathering to call on his name. We'll bring you the news review shortly, but this song, we love it. Leslie Monza. You understand? Leslie Monza. The news review is brought to you by Zonda and Fidelity Bank. Ghana is building, Ghana is moving, Ghana deserves the best. World-class vehicles are being assembled right here at home. Welcome to Zonda Tech Ghana Limited, your one-stop automobile shop and proud operators of an impressive automobile assembly plant in Ghana. From heavy-duty trucks powered by global giants Sinotrack to premium SUVs and pickups from Great Wall Motors and Cherry. Dependable light-duty trucks by Forland. World-class construction equipment from Shantui and Sunny Group. Zonda Tech delivers top-most quality brands assembled here in Ghana. Affordable luxury you can trust. Vehicles are built to international standards. We support Ghanaian jobs, drive Ghana's industrial future. So choose strength, choose quality, choose locally assembled excellence. While you're at it, your salary deserves better, so switch to Fidelity Bank today and enjoy amazing benefits, lower interest rates, higher loan amounts, personalized financial support, and a smile that lasts. It's time to switch and smile wider with Fidelity Bank. To learn more, please contact 0800 003355. FidelityBank.com.gh is where to visit online. Connect with us on social media at Fidelity Bank GH. Fidelity Bank, believe with us.
When you call, when the battle rises up like a flood, and you're standing trusting in his blood, he will be your shield.
Francisca Kakwefosen is in the studio in white, outfit today. Getting into the new month in a Victoria Stone, of course, and Samuel Akom is here
sir.
With his beautiful, Black Star jersey.
Black Star, 5-star.
Yeah,
Should we describe what you're also wearing?
No, it's very something.
It's a gray, there's brown in there, there's yellow in there.
There's
some white lines,
Yeah.
So this one too is walking into victory.
Be victory, It's all about the family consecration bath this morning.
Exactly.
So from here we will join the families from all over the country who have gathered at the Oil Dome. Yeah, Kakra, good morning.
Let me start with the Graphic Online. And the stories that are on Graphic Online. AMA announces noise-making ban, no drums, no loudspeakers, etc. Other stories, Ibrahim Mahama's Damang mine sells entire first output to Gold Board. BEC 2026 set to begin May 4 as GES warns against exam malpractice. Finance Minister Deputy filed taxes publicly to boost compliance, and reparatory justice is about healing, not money, and that's according to the Foreign Affairs Minister Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa. They've got an interesting story that's headlined, since 2018, 60 Ayalolo buses render no accounts. That's according to the GAPTI probe.
60 buses. They were not doing sales.
Yes.
They go and come, but they don't render accounts.
Yes, that's the revelation from the GAPTI probe.
Okay, from there, let me take you to citynewsroom.com and a very bold headline: Oil Dome to host annual family consecration service today, as you earlier intimated. And in some other stories, a former Kolebu CEO, no bet syndrome requires health systems reform. And Adamus retains financial control over mining leases as government reviews revocation. And in some other stories, Land Ministry to review petition against Adamo's lease revocation. Some good news for them. And Gridco fire, 5th unit at Akosombo Dam restored. That is according to the Energy Minister.
Good one there. Okay, so let me bring you channel1newsonline.com. Premier Secretariat launches accountability series to curb fund misuse. Channel 1 TV market price barometer, April 2026, cement, iron rod. These prices anchor construction costs, so we'll get into that a bit later. Ambulances operate blind due to data gaps. Former Kolebu CEO is speaking here. NACOC intercepts 40-foot trailer carrying 5 million tapentadol tablets, 4 arrested. Corruption fight needs strong, independent institutions. Professor Dodu is speaking here. In the Ashanti region, Pragya Tipatra coalition kills teacher at Bosofuo, and BOG's 19 billion Ghana cedi loss, not economic but accounting effect. BEC on that, we are told invigilators who are under investigation will be barred from invigilating this year, and I agree with this.
Okay, let me take you to the Ghana News Agency, and President Mahama visit tidal wave site, and also still with the President commends engineers during visit to fire-affected Gridco sub-station. In some more stories, advocates push TVET to tackle youth unemployment, and then the public advised to stop attack on firefighters. That is an editorial on the Ghana News Agency website.
Okay.
All right, let's go to myjournline.com, and they're reporting cocoa buyers divert funds to purchase smuggled beans. That's according to Cocoa Board. Also, how fire destroyed everything in the Akosombo Gridco substation control room. Zanetor Rawlings elected second vice president of Pan-African Parliament. Also, gunfire on Yape Road, police foil robbery plot, 2 suspects killed in Bupe operation. And you mentioned that headline, Pragya and tipper truck head-on collision claims teacher's life at Asante Mampong.
All right, let me take you to the High Street Journal quickly before you come in. Ghanaian workers magic, how low incomes fund higher living costs. Interesting paradox, isn't it? Low incomes funding high living costs. We'll get into that. Egg exports disruptions deepen glut, leave Ghana's poultry farmers counting losses. Why Africa must go beyond fertilizer use to build fertilizer sovereignty, a researcher's view. And over 305 million Ghana cedi debt, auctioneer moves to seize PBC's assets as government delays continues.
Caleb, just a quick headline before we get into the details, still on my journal. It says 10 illegal miners remanded into prison custody for mining under ECG high tension poles.
ECG high tension pole.
Exactly.
Okay, the Herald, Ghana.com, ECG restores power to Afram Plains. They also capture that story. And an elder arrested in Naimos grip over Galamsey. They also have Gold Board employs more Ghanaians and triples revenue in 2025. That story came a bit earlier as well. And quickly, let me take you to the Chronicle. Adamus Resources petitions Minister over license revocation. They have that story. And Ghana Health Service proves maternal death at Kaswa Mother and Child Hospital. Now, Western Regional Minister cracks down on illegal mining near a basic school. That is also a troubling story there.
Yeah. I've seen that here as well. Let me take you to Star quickly. Lightwave Sues Akando claims, this is starfm.com.gh. Lightwave Sues Akando claims malicious falsehoods caused loss of $50 million World Bank deal. Daman Gold Mine sells 100% of first output to Gold Board BOG to boost Ghana's foreign reserves. Mahama visits Akosombo, comments VRA that came a bit earlier. And other stories here as well, but I could take you international.
Okay, can I go to 3 News before we go international? So 3 News, Parliament celebrates workers on May Day, and some other headlines. We are building a system where only genuine workers receive salaries. Deputy Finance Minister speaking there. And an improved security situation. Interior Minister cites reason for lifting curfew on Karaga in the northern region. And then finally on 3news.com, BOG 16.7 billion Ghana cedi loss justified as cost of economic stability. That is from the majority.
Okay, so let me give you a quick flavor of the international news. China scraps tariffs for all but one African nation. And man sentenced to death for murder of toddlers at Ugandan nursery. How are we going to get home? Islamist group tightens blockade on Mali capital. Serious situations there. And Meta in row after workers in Kenya who say they saw smart glasses users having sex lose jobs. Interesting developments there. If you go to CNN, how the Iran war could rattle or break the U.S. economy. That's a big one here. Ladies and gentlemen, where do you want to start with this morning?
Okay, let me start with the family consecration and Oil Dome to host annual family consecration service today, which is currently underway, and thousands of Ghanaians are gathering at the Oil Dome Royal House Chapel today for the annual family consecration service organized by Citi FM and Channel 1 Television. The 6-hour event, scheduled from 6 a.m. to 12 noon, has become a key fixture on the station's calendar and is expected to bring together families from across the country to seek guidance, protection, and blessings for the rest of the year.
Right, Kaka, what would you take us to?
Okay, I want to go to some news about MP Zaneto Rawlings. She's been elected second vice president of the Pan-African Parliament. And the story reads that the MP for Clotte Corley, Zaneto Agyemang Rawlings, has been elected second vice president of the Pan-African Parliament. She secured the position with a decisive vote of 131 against 51, underscoring broad support from lawmakers across the continent. Her election marks a significant moment for Ghana's representation within the continental legislative body. The Pan-African Parliament, an organ of the African Union, plays a key role in promoting integration, cooperation, and democratic governance among member states. Zaneto's elevation to the leadership of Parliament is expected to strengthen Ghana's voice in shaping policy at the continental level.
Beautiful. Congratulations to her. Let me take you to the Ashanti region to bring you this troubling story where Pragya Tipa truck collision has killed a teacher at Bosufo. A story by Bright Yabwa on Channel 1 News online.com. 37-year-old teacher at Hwidiam MA Basic School, Constance Karikari, has died following a road crash at Bosufor near Asante Mampong in the Ashanti region. Now, the incident occurred on Wednesday, April 29, 2026, as she was returning home from school. She was among 4 passengers on a Pragya tricycle involved in a head-on collision with a tipper truck. Now, the Assembly member for the 19 electoral area, Nicholas Osei-Wusu, told Channel 1 News that the impact left all occupants severely injured. The victims were rushed at Asante Mampong Government Hospital for emergency treatment.
Okay.
Okay, should I talk about the police and the 2 suspects dying. Yes, this is gunfire on Yape Road. Police foil robbery plot. 2 suspects killed in Bupe operation. And the story reads, the Ghana Police Service has foiled an attempted robbery at Bupe in the Savannah region, arresting 2 suspects and killing 2 others in a follow-up, 2 other suspects in a follow-up operation. According to a police statement, the incident began on April 26, 2026, when a patrol team on duty along the Yape Tamale Road encountered 3 armed men who opened fire on an armored police vehicle. The officers returned fire, forcing the suspects to flee. Police retrieved a locally manufactured firearm and an empty cartridge from the scene. Intelligence-led operations the following day resulted or led to the arrest of 2 suspects identified as Osman Abdullahi, also known as Landan, and Umar Seidu in Tamale. During interrogation, the suspects admitted they were on their way to carry out a robbery at Iape but aborted the plan after being involved in a motor accident. They also confessed to their involvement in the earlier attack on the police patrol team and named 3 accomplices as Babuga, Kilo, and Malami.
Okay, let me put 2 stories together on mining for you quickly, and then we can turn our attention to the energy. Power and energy sector. Right? So Damai Mine sells 100% of the first gold output to Gold Board. Damai Gold Mine Limited, owned by Ibrahim Mahama, has sold 100% of its first gold output to the Ghana Gold Board in a move aimed at boosting Ghana's foreign reserves. The transaction, described as historic, saw about 110 kilograms of gold delivered to the Gold Board's assay laboratory in Accra on Thursday, May 30, 2026. The gold will be assayed, valued, and purchased on behalf of the Bank of Ghana before being refined and added to the country's gold reserves. In other news, Lands Ministry to review petition against Adamu's lease revocation. I don't know if we did that earlier. It was the headlines, right? Yeah. So let me just get into that quickly. The Minister of Lands and Natural Resources, Emmanuel Amakofi-Boa, has announced that the Ministerial Committee will review a petition from Adamu's Resources Limited over the revocation of its mining lease. He's been speaking at a press conference where he explained that the decision follows a meeting with the Minerals Commission and the management of Adamus, where the company formally submitted a petition seeking a review of the revocation of its lease covering Akango, Salman, and Nkrofo. Just a very interesting one here on Chronicle. Still on mining, this time illegal. Pentecost elder arrested for allegedly doing galamsey. And the National Anti-Illegal Mining Operations Secretariat, NIMOS, has arrested a man said to be an elder of the Church of Pentecost for allegedly operating an illegal mining site at Achim Moso near Draso in the Asante Achim South District of the Ashanti region. What I find interesting is the characterization of the story. It's the first time I'm hearing
an elder.
A story told and given us such detail that the culprit happens to be an elder of the church. By all means, he should be dealt with according to his actions.
I think we need much more bigger fishes arrested. Granted that a church elder has been arrested and it's good. It's the finance that keeps galamsey happening, and those who fund it, I'm sure there are bigger names in Ghana. And NIMOS, kudos to them, but they still need to do more. We need the big fishes arrested.
Okay, so before we end, let me bring you 2 quick stories on power situation. It appears it's getting better because Grid Co-Fire, 5th unit at Akosombo Dam restored. That is according to the Minister for Energy. Story by William Nam on citynewsroom.com. Ghana's power generation capacity has received a boost following the restoration of a 5th unit at the Akosombo Dam as efforts continue to stabilize electricity supply after recent disruptions. We know that recent days 4 were up, now 5th left with the last one. We are hoping it gets restored. Another quick one. ECG restores power to Afram Plains after a river cable fault. Story on myjoyonline.com. The Electricity Company of Ghana has successfully restored electricity supply to their Afram Plains following a major outage caused by damage to a marine cable. According to the General Manager for External Communications, Charles Ni Aikwaiku, the fault occurred about 400 meters into the river Afram in the early hours of Monday, cutting off power to the entire Donkokro district.
Okay, and a quick announcement from the Accra Metropolitan Assembly that
cleaning again?
They are announcing a 1-month ban on drumming and noise making across the Ghana traditional area beginning Monday, This is across the Ga traditional area, beginning Monday, May 4 to Thursday, June 4, 2026. I think it's for the observance of a ceremony.
So there's a ban on noise making, and so we all observe that. That's the news review. Thank you, Kakra. Thank you, Samuel.
This is the City Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
Join the conversation on the City Breakfast Show on Facebook at facebook.com/City97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/City973, and Instagram at instagram.com/City973 with the hashtag CityCBS.
Unleashing the power of relevant radio. This is City 97.3.
At 7, and it's time for the breakfast edition of the City Business News. Ni latte from Osu Kinkawe or Aneho?
No, I come from Usualata.
Usualata is here to serve as the breakfast edition, the holiday edition of the City
Business News. Good morning, Caleb. It's Friday. Welcome to the breakfast edition of City Business News, brought to you by MTN, EcoBank, and Valex. I am Ni Latte. Straight into our stories now. And this morning, you are expected to pay less for fuel because some oil marketing companies have begun reducing ex-pump fuel prices with the start of the pricing window of May. The first one, of course, signaling a marginal easing in the country's downstream petroleum market. State-owned Goil is now selling petrol at 13 cedis 25 pesos per litre, slightly down from 13 cedis 27 pesos recorded in the second pricing window of April. Diesel prices have also declined more noticeably, selling at 15 cedis 66 pesos per litre compared to 16 cedis 10 pesos previously. However, Goil's premium grade Super XP 95 remains unchanged at 15 cedis 77 pesos per litre. The adjustments come in line with expected price moderation for the May pricing window, with more OMCs expected to review their pump prices in the coming days. Away from that, and finance and tax analyst Nelson Kuju Kwagweji is defending the losses recorded by the Bank of Ghana in its 2025 financial accounts, describing them as the inevitable cost of stabilizing the country's economy.
If you look at the performance of the economy in 2024 and you compare that to 2025, you could only draw one conclusion, that the bank actually used its tools intensively to actually deliver outcome that benefits the ordinary Ghanaians. In fact, bringing down inflation from 23.8% to about 5% demands that the Bank of Ghana must absorb excess liquidity from the system using its OMO operation, and that comes at a cost. Again, building foreign reserve through gold purchase also creates an accounting cost for the balance sheet of the Bank of Ghana. A stronger cedi mechanically also reduces the cedi value of the dollar and the gold the bank holds. And so the loss that Bank of Ghana made is actually justifiable, and those losses will not in any way impact on the core mandates of the Bank of Ghana.
Nelson Kuju Kwagweji is a finance and tax analyst. Managing Director of PBC Limited said Yonyi is courting investor confidence, insisting the company remains viable despite escalating debt enforcement actions by a consortium of banks. Speaking to City Business News, he maintained that PBC is still a going concern, underpinned by its legal mandate and strategic role in Ghana's cocoa sector as a last resort buyer. According to him, the company's current difficulties stem from past leadership and management decisions, but expressed confidence that a reset under the current team backed by government will restore the fortunes of the firm.
I want to assure the investment community that PBC is going a going concern activity as a business. They should have that confidence in us, because we are the only LBC that is established by a legislative instrument. We are the last resort buyers of cocoa in the country, and we are mandated by law we have all the infrastructure and logistics that it takes. And under the assurance of His Excellency the President, my team and I would ensure that we revamp PBC to an admirable level. PBC had been a hero in this industry before, chopping Club 100's #1 success. It took men, it took people, it took management to see it to that level. PBC had come down to where it is. It is as a result of leadership and management that brought it to where it is. And it will be as a result of myself, my team, that is going to be backed by His Excellency the President with his ambition to see PBC revamp. Would definitely make it a success. We are assuring them that they should still have that confidence in us.
You heard the Managing Director of PBC Limited, Seydou Yonye. The Channel 1 TV Market Price Barometer continues with its fourth index focusing on construction and small businesses inputs, which tracks the cost of key materials across selected markets in Accra. Average market prices in this index point to prevailing cost conditions facing developers and small-scale builders. Here's what the latest data shows.
According to Channel 1 TV Market Price Barometer Construction and Small Business Inputs Index, the average market price of cement is 105 cedis for 32.5 grade and 116 cedis for 42.5 grade. Iron rods record an average market price of 7,250 cedis per ton across the market surveyed. A double axle load of rough sand averages 2,800 cedis, while smooth sand records an average market price of 3,500 cedis. Paint per 4.5-litre bucket averages 84 cedis to 50 pesos, while plywood per sheet records an average market price of 103 cedis, 75 pesos. Nails record an average market price of 32 cedis, 50 pesos per kilogram. The data shows relatively aligned pricing across core construction materials, with cement and iron rods continuing to define the cost base of building activity. As a maiden data set, the index provides a baseline for tracking how construction costs evolve and what they signal for investment activity in the months ahead.
That was data compiled by Channel 1 TV Research Desk under the Channel 1 TV Market Price Barometer, tracking the pulse of prices in Accra. On the interbank market this morning, the dollar is trading at 11 cedis 8 pesos, the British pound at 14 cedis 97 pesos. That of the euro could be sold to you at 12 cedis 98 pesos. And that's it for the breakfast edition of Citi Business News. These stories and more on citinewsroom.com/business. I'm Nilati Lati. Next is the Citi Business Edition. Do have a good business day.
Charlie, dream I'm nice. I get some serious meeting. Allah, motion. But Charlie, no credit today. Oh, but you relax. Momo day.
Hey, what funny.
Yes, so I borrow small, sort myself out, I pay back. We move. Spot there. Ah, Charlie, you sure say you pay back? Yes, so that anytime somebody else they need them, Momo day. Be like I for can't borrow some more. Hey, you this boy. Don't go there and disgrace yourself. Allah, motion.
Responsible borrowing be the real flexo for today's needs and tomorrow's dreams. Borrow, sort them, pay back. Momo day.
Hello, my name is Wakadri, and I'm a man of many voices. Some people fall for Pamela.
Good afternoon, this is Pamela. We're revalidating some mobile app account. Kindly confirm your details.
Oh, my other victims who think I'm calling from.
Hello, customer experience here. Your account has been blocked. Please provide your PIN so we can reactivate it immediately.
Others panic and fall for that one.
Dear customer, click the link in the SMS we just sent you to upgrade to your ATM services.
My favorites are the ones who click first and think later.
Hey, Roger.
Be honest, like play, you could also fall for this. Stay safe. Remember, EcoBank will never call, email or send an SMS asking for your PIN, OTP, bank card or Ghana card details. Pay attention to detail.
EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank.
Join the conversation on the Citi Breakfast Show on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag CitiCBS.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
L to the A to the L to the A. La, la, la.
Many thanks to Neela Telati for bringing us the holiday edition of the Citi Business News that was brought to you by EcoBank, MTN, and Guel. If your money is controlling you, now it's time to take charge. EcoBank mobile app gives you the power to command your money, transact across 33 African countries and anywhere in the world. So command your money to make water, electricity, and school fee payments, bank and mobile money transfers, create virtual cards to buy only what you need and more. Money Commander, go and download the EcoBank mobile app now on the app or Play stores. Command your money. Commanding your money also means paying attention to details. Listen, we will never call you or send an SMS asking for your PIN, OTP, bank card, or Ghana card details. If you're in doubt, just call our call center 0800 003225. EcoBank is the Pan-African Bank. Queuing for your favorite watching, we can accept it. There's one thing that Ghanaians can relate with. It's queuing. Queuing for trotro. Yeah, we adjust. We survive. In fact, if queuing were an Olympic sport, we would win gold. But one thing we cannot accept: queuing to swap your MTN SIM. Queuing to swap your MTN SIM. Listen, swap your MTN SIM yourself and in minutes. Visit the My MTN app or dial *1333#. Get this done ASAP. No more standing, no more sweating, no more who be the last person. Do it yourself. Simply swap it everywhere you go. And if you're looking for quality fuel that gives your engine smooth performance, look no further. Guel Super XP is of premium quality, gives you the correct choice when buying regular fuel. Guel Super XP is fortified with a special additive that gives longevity to your engine, makes your engine perform to the max, using minimal fuel that takes you further. Just go fuel up your vehicle and enjoy the smooth ride with all the benefits. As you journey the road, look out for Guel stations and fuel up your vehicle with quality you can trust. Guel Super XP Ufilia. Ubefi. Guel good energy. We'll bring you the business edition very shortly, the Citi Business Edition this morning. We're talking about financing Africa's growth, the role of ABSA. Bernard sits down with the Group Chief Executive Officer of ABSA Group Limited, Kenny Filler. Kenny Filler will be sitting with Bernard Avler in a conversation we'll bring you in a bit. Before then, let's share whole savings and loans as great news. Fala season is on. From now until April 30, our interest rates have been reduced further just for you. So apply for a loan today. Sort out all your needs at the best rates on the market. Fala season Angaza is on. Just WhatsApp or call Nana on 02700 40799. Always remember terms and conditions apply. Let's share whole. Let's improve life. And have you gotten your Polytank Sumo Super yet? If not, this is your month to save. Get 10% off the premium multiple layer Sumo Super Tank from now to the end of the Ghana month. Yeah, we keep going even after the Ghana month. So we are built with advanced multi-layer technology and reinforced for superior durability. Go for Sumo Super. Is designed to last. It gives you peace of mind for your home, your project, and your business. Good morning to all my friends at Peace B and Bechile. I know you don't get water, so just go to the Polytank outlet close to you. Ask for Sumo Super. Save over 1,000 Ghana cedis. Polytank is the original request for Momo payments online, so please beware. a happy birthday to Roger Klu, aka Lion Payola. Okay, your birthday dedication song is Agbabola. How much is money? From your loved ones and the members of the Supreme Lions to Lion Payola. Okay, you should be playing the Agbabola and enjoying it. Because now I'm going to get into the Citi Business Edition, Financing Africa's Growth, the Role of ABSA. Enjoy this one.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
Please wait. Please wait. Please wait until I get my new car. Please wait until I find my real size. Lord God, somebody, my girl, sweet girl, my girl. I can see all your joy.
ABSA is one of Africa's leading banks. We're very privileged to have been joined by the Group CEO of one of Africa's most important banks, ABSA Bank. He's in Ghana for very important meetings, and he decided to spend a few minutes with us here on Channel 1 Television and Citi FM to share his vision for the bank, how he sees Ghana within that group, and the future of finance in a very interesting time for the world. My guest is Kenny Fila, Group CEO of ABSA Bank Ghana, After Bank Group. Mr. Fila, good to have you.
No, thank you very much. I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
I must say, your name is one of the shortest South African names I've heard. I've heard more complicated ones. So is it Fila or Fila?
Fila.
What does that mean?
Fila is hide in a number of African sort of languages in South Africa, Ngoni languages, Zulu, Xhosa, Ndebele, Swati. But it could also mean Arai, Fila, if we are speaking Setswana or Sesotho. I am Xhosa, so it means hide.
Hi, okay. So hi, Mr. Fila. Welcome to Ghana. Is this your first time?
No, it's not my first time. I've been to Ghana a few times before. It's always a beautiful country. I enjoy coming to Ghana. Lovely people, friendly environment, good food, I must say. Hopefully, I'll still fit in my clothes when I go back to South Africa.
So what is this particular visit about?
I joined ABSA as the Group Chief Executive in July, or rather mid-June last year. And since Ghana is one of our biggest geographies, in fact, it's in the top 3, it's important for me to be here so that we can interact with the team, understand where the business is headed, see what is it that they require from a group point of view in order to accelerate the performance of this business. I think Ghana is also a very, very important economy. Despite some of the challenges that we're dealing with at the moment, Ghana is well poised to weather the storm, given its gold production, given its oil production, and given all the policies and the measures that have been implemented by the Ghanaian government. So it is a very, very important economy, and it's always useful to visit important economies first as we think about the future of the business.
So you're welcome to Ghana. So you said Ghana is one of your top 3.
Absolutely.
That's interesting because when I look at the number of countries you're in, physically, population-wise, we're not the biggest. So I know South Africa is big, Kenya, even Nigeria. So that means the Ghana team is doing some really good job to be in your top 3 because you're in 12 countries.
We have an exceptional management team, great people who work for ABSA in Ghana. They are focused, they are clear about how to support their own customer base. They are also clear about how to partner effectively with government as well as state entities in order to unlock and accelerate the economic growth of Ghana. So it is always pleasing to visit the country and see the energy, the excitement and enthusiasm of the local management team.
You come at a very interesting time. The government has spent 15 months in office, the new government, and then globally we're all discussing where the world is. I think most people are in Washington for the IMF spring meetings because, of course, there are big things to discuss. What is your own view of where we are globally around growth, inflation? What kind of outlook do you think that presents for a country like Ghana within the continent?
I'll answer the question in two parts.
Yes.
I think the first part is about Ghana itself. I think Ghana has taken all the measures that are necessary to position itself relatively well. I think it is one of few countries that will be able to weather the storms despite all of these challenges that we're dealing with. Increase in energy prices, a lot of volatility and unpredictability. Ghana is fortunate in many respects in that as people fear global challenges and turmoil, they tend to move their capital to assets that they consider safe like gold.
Yeah.
Ghana is fortunate in that it will benefit in that regard. Secondly, the energy situation has raised the need for energy companies as well as buyers of energy to look at diversified sources to procure their own crude oil.
Yeah.
Again, Ghana is well positioned to be able to benefit from this turmoil. I think on balance, Ghana will do exceptionally well. Naturally, we worry about the transmission effect of higher energy prices to the overall global inflation and the inflation of many of the African countries. But I think there are opportunities that also come with this crisis. Africa is endowed with natural resources and minerals. These minerals will continue to be in demand, either to support energy transition or to accelerate the development of AI, data centers, chips, and so on. So I think in as much as we have to worry about some of the challenges, we should also look at the opportunity and ask ourselves the question, what can we do to accelerate the development of these resources that we have? How do we position ourselves to ensure that we take advantage of some of the crisis that is happening around us?
Yeah.
And I think if we do that well, Africa would emerge, and Ghana in particular is likely to lead that emergence.
Yeah. Many years ago, because Africa was not that well connected to global finance, we didn't directly suffer from economic meltdowns, whether in New York or in London. It appears with the work of banks like ABSA and financial inclusion and the rest of it, and even countries going to the bond markets, smaller African countries and other developing countries are getting more integrated into the global economy. So shocks affect all of us. Is that a source of worry? People are talking about growth, for example, could be affected. You mentioned inflation. Some people are concerned that even currencies could be at risk in terms of what the crisis could mean for their stability. What are your thoughts around countries within the global fringes and the effect of the crisis on them?
I think we are part of the global village. It is beneficial for countries to be connected to the global economy. We produce a lot of products in the African continent, whether it's our own natural resources or, if you think about it, we are endowed with arable land. 60% of uncultivated arable land globally is found in the African continent, which means that if we're able to take advantage of that situation, we could be feeding the whole world. That inevitably means we have to be connected to the global economy, we have to be connected to financial flows, and therefore whatever happens in terms of the global economy and shifts, it will affect the African continent. But I don't think that should scare us.
Okay.
If anything, we should see that as an opportunity for Africa to do more with the world and for Africa to benefit by leveraging its own resources for the benefit of its own people. I think there's a second element to it, in that Africa must also do more with itself.
Yes.
Intra-Africa trade is still relatively small compared to the trade that Africa does with the rest of the world. I think we should learn from these global challenges that there's an opportunity for us to do more with each other. We would not be as susceptible to some of the global challenges if we do more with each other. And I hope that this will result in our own regulators, our own governments, accelerating the removal of obstacles that minimize the flow of goods between African countries and make sure that it is easier for people to move from one country to the other, because you cannot trade with each other if we have obstacles that prevent the movement of goods and services and the movement of people.
Let's do a 2-in-1 on finance. The IMF told us this week that because of all that's happening, lending is reducing and more African countries will depend on concessionary finance and multilateral support. Now, we know there's also development finance, and then there's commercial finance, and of course, then there's other types of finance. What type of money would be available to unlock the sectors you've discussed? You've spoken about agriculture, you've spoken about the natural resources. Will the type of financing that a bank like yours makes available be affordable enough? Because don't forget that when African countries went to the bond market and went to borrow at commercial rates, a lot of them had to pay for it. So what role does the finance that a bank like yours provides play in our recovery? That's number one. And number two, quickly, do you think the sectors that you lend, because people say we don't lend enough to agriculture, for example, right? How are you skewing those sectors to reflect the modern realities of the continent?
I think let me start with your question in relation to agriculture. ABSA is the biggest commercial bank that supports the agricultural sector. Of course, we're not leveraging what we do well in one geography to the benefit of the rest of our footprint, as well as I think we should be able to do, or we should be doing. Let me give an example. In South Africa, for example, 40% of bank lending to the agricultural sector, lending by commercial banks to the agricultural sector, is done by ABSA. So we've got sector expertise, but I don't think we've accelerated the leveraging of that know-how, of that expertise to the benefit of the rest of our footprint. It doesn't mean we don't lend, but there is no reason why we can't have similarly higher percentage lending to the agricultural sector, because we understand it well. We know that it has its own ups and downs, but we know that if you choose the right lines and you focus on the right opportunities, you can have a sustainable business over a long period of time. And we are changing how we connect different countries so that we can benefit from a thing that is done well in one country to the benefit of the rest of our footprint. Let me move then to your sort of first question. Africa, despite the fact that we've got massive demand for capital and for funding, if you take into account our own need for infrastructure development, for energy development and energy transition, development of social services, of our own economy, and the building of the manufacturing capability of the African continent, there is no doubt that we need trillions of dollars to be able to unlock that potential. But that is not required all in day one. We can build and start somewhere, and there is enough capital within the African continent to make that progress. There's a lot of private capital that is looking for opportunities and good projects. Banks can help in connecting investors to those opportunities and in partnering with government and other role players to make sure that these projects are packaged in a manner that makes them commercially viable. We also mobilize a lot of liabilities and liquidity from depositors. That liquidity should be deployed to productive sectors of the economy. And that's what banks are for when everything is said and done, is to intermediate where the surplus capital and make sure that that capital is deployed to areas that require or need it. And I think our own commercial banks should be playing a proactive role in ensuring that good quality projects are supported and are supported in a manner that is appropriate and so on. I think if we're able to do those first two well, it makes it easy then to crowd external capital. If we do not lend to our own economies, why must foreigners put money in our own economies when we do not do so as institutions that are resident in our own continent? We're also seeing a lot of interest coming from development finance institutions from other countries, driven by the need for critical minerals, driven by the need to find new markets and new areas that can give them better returns relative to where they are home-based. And I think all they require, though, is access to those opportunities and partnerships that are appropriate from local institutions. And we hope to play that role as ABSA.
I see you love my first question in this too because of your background in corporate and investment banking. So let's stay with that. There's a big discussion in Ghana about pension funds and what they can do. In Southern Africa, you've unlocked that. It's a big debate that's about to happen because people need capital which is cheap and long term. What is your advice to us as we embark on that journey to use pension funds to deploy in productive sectors? What opportunity does it open for us, and what should we be mindful of in doing that as a country?
I think in some of our markets, we find that some of the pension fund investment policies actually mitigate against the capital being deployed in the right sectors. Many of these policies restrict where the money can be deployed to, and secondly, make a requirement for a significant portion of these savings to be deployed in investments that are outside of the African continent. So effectively, we are reducing the pool of capital that is originated and gathered in Africa from being used to productively use within the African continent. Of course, pension fund must make sure that the money is available to pay people's pensions when they retire. But we need to remove some of the restrictions that do not really add value to the actual preservation of this capital and the growth of this capital. I think we should be looking at what should we be doing to unlock productive infrastructure development. That is not just about delivering the infrastructure project, but is about unlocking the economic potential that can be supported by that infrastructure project. Think about logistics, our own ports. They should be benefiting from the crisis that is happening in the Middle East if they are efficient, if they are reliable, and if the logistics that is connected to them works exceptionally well. Think about the mining sector and the processing that is required to supply critical minerals. As everyone is talking about AI, data, and so on. We need to support infrastructure that helps us to unlock these opportunities. And I think pension funds should make sure that in their own policies, they make it possible for these funds to be deployed to those unlocks. That would be hugely beneficial, by the way, to beneficiaries and members of the fund, and ultimately create long-term viability for our own economies.
This is a special conversation we're having with the Group CEO of Absa Bank, Kenny Fila, in Ghana for the first time as Group CEO of Absa. He's been here before. And by the way, the company or the group is in a number of countries: Botswana, Zambia, Namibia, of course headquartered in South Africa, they're in Seychelles, Mauritius, Kenya, Uganda. They have presence in Nigeria, but Ghana, we believe, is the crown jewel. And thank you really for talking to us. I have a couple of final points for you. You did say that intra-Africa trade is critical. When I look at Ghana's export statistics, gold is about 65%. When you add cocoa and oil, we are close to 90%. The so-called non-traditional exports, from textiles to cosmetics, is almost 10%. Number one. Number two, a lot of the companies that produce these products are SMEs. Right? So if we are going to support intra-Africa trade and promote non-traditional exports, it means we would have to support small and medium-sized enterprises. What is a bank like yours doing to support that?
We've got teams that are focusing on increasing our support to small enterprises. I think part of the challenge that every commercial bank needs to deal with is to adapt the old traditional lending models. They rely on previous financial statement, i.e. previous performance of the company. Let's look at your previous annual financial statement for the last 3 years and so on. For small and emerging enterprises, we are asking a question that is not relevant, because these are enterprises that have ups and downs, run usually by individuals or families. They're not going to give you a history of financial statements. So we need to modify our lending criteria to focus more on understanding the behavior of the client. And those are things that we've already started to build. We also need to form partnerships with a number of role players who already have data and have modeled the behavior of small businesses. They will tell you who is reliable and who will honor their debt obligation, because these people have been their customers for a number of years. They know exactly how they behave. And we are modifying and incorporating those additional data points into our own lending sort of decisions. Secondly, we can play a critical role in creating access to markets for small enterprises. We've got big corporates. Many of them would like to procure locally because it is cheaper for them to do so. It makes them far more relevant to communities within which they operate. But the mechanisms and the markets to make sure that small enterprises can access these customers are not well developed and well matured, and they don't have the scale to be able to negotiate in a meaningful way with these big corporates. We run in many of our markets market access programs where we educate small enterprises about where these opportunities are, and we play the matchmaking role between these small enterprises as well as big customers who could access or buy their goods and services. I think we need more of those kinds of initiatives. And the last thing that we need is an effective partnership between commercial banks, government and development finance institutions. There will still be risk. And I think we need other partners to help us mitigate this risk by ensuring that where what is required is initially development finance or lending that is sweetened in order to make sure that these entities are able to get onto their feet, that lending is provided so that banks can then come in with the commercial lending in order to allow the businesses to grow. I think there's still a lot of work that we can do across multiple players to connect better and to drive this sector of the economy. That is the engine for growth for Africa.
One of the big things about Africa is the growth of mobile financial services. We call it mobile money. And Ghana, Kenya are two of the leading markets. And that improves financial inclusion, although some of the lending rates are high. How do you see that generally, and also the issue of access to finance for small companies? How would mobile financial services play a role, and is your bank a serious player within the digital finance ecosystem? Is this something you're interested in at all?
We are, absolutely. Wallets, as we call them, have transformed access to finance. They've made it easy for people to move money from one area to the next, person-to-person transfer. They've also made it easy for businesses to move money to individuals, because the obstacles that prevent people from having bank accounts, the cost, the sort of hassle factor that is associated with opening a bank account gets removed when you already have a mobile phone in your hand and you could easily access sort of a money, sort of a wallet and so on. So it is a useful part of financial inclusion. But there are also limits to what mobile money can do. They are not deposit taking, because if they are deposit taking, then they need to fall under exactly the same regulations as banks, and that brings the obstacles that I was talking about into play and so on. So there has to be an effective partnership between mobile money operators and banks to ensure that banks can do that which they are geared up to do, compliance, regulation, monitoring and so on, and mobile money can actually play in the space of the actual movement of funds in a much more efficient, cheaper way in order to ensure that people continue to have access and so on. I think that same partnership can be extended to provide lending of small amounts to SMMEs, lending in a duration of a month, 3 months, short dated, but you can monitor the behavior of a trader or a small business, and you can attach therefore your lending to assist them with working capital. In the majority of cases, small businesses require funding for working capital, not for massive long-term development of a factory or procurement of massive capital infrastructure. It is about working capital. And there's a lot that we can do by leveraging the access of mobile money to ensure that people have access to that working capital, and their businesses therefore can run smoothly and effectively over a longer period of time.
Finally, we are doing this interview in the yet-to-be-outdoored new facility of Absa Ghana. How impressed have you been with this, and also generally with the team? I'm sure you know the Ghana CEO too. I think it's been 2 years or below. He's relatively new. How impressed have you been about what you've seen here, and also the work of the team for Absa Ghana?
I think that the premises where people work is an important part of your employee value proposition. Edward made it a point that he takes me to the current building that the rest of the team is still occupying, so that I can compare the two buildings. And it's becoming clear that that building is old, requires massive renovation and rehabilitation just to be suitable for people to work in it for a long period of time. And clearly, I think this is long overdue. I think our employees need to be happy. They must want to go to work. They must enjoy the premises within which they work. And there's also a second advantage in that this also deals with the congestion of the sort of the CBD. So it makes it easy for people to come to the office and for clients also to come to our own premises. So our clients win, our employees win because the environment is more healthy, more conducive for them to want to work in it. And it also deals with some of the challenges that are inherent in the current building, i.e. old, and starting to also border on having occupational health and safety issues, which would have required massive investment for us to try and eliminate. So I'm glad that they made the decision, and I'm glad that they can't wait to move into this building.
Wonderful. In 2010, when you hosted the World Cup, every South African supported Ghana in the quarterfinal. We are both going to the World Cup, Ghana and South Africa, and your first game is against Mexico. So we will be supporting Bafana. Please don't disappoint us.
We will do our best, but I don't think South Africa is as good as Ghana.
Thank you for saying that.
Ghana should have progressed in the World Cup.
Yes.
It was just unfortunate that someone chose to use his hand when they should be using their legs to kick the ball. Yeah.
Terrible, yeah. So thanks for visiting Ghana. We will see you hopefully soon.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me. It's a
Wonderful.
pleasure.
We'll be talking to the Absa Group CEO, Kenny Fichler, who's original South African citizen of the world, visiting Ghana for the first time as CEO of Absa Bank. He's been here before in his previous jobs. Thanks for watching this segment of the show. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Unleashing the power of relevant radio. This is Citi 97.3.
This is the City Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
Join the conversation on the City Breakfast Show on Facebook at facebook.com/City97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/City973, and Instagram at instagram.com/City973 with the hashtag CityCBS.
This is the City Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
Hi, and welcome to the Friday edition of Kickoff right here on 97.3. It's the Workers' Day edition. Kickoff is proudly brought to you by Polyton Ghana and Lesheho. Let's improve life. Let's get straight into the details. But before that, I'm Gabi Ofe. Now, with less than 50 days to the World Cup, the Ministry of Finance, through its Deputy Minister, has updated the public on funds raised so far for Ghana's participation in the tournament. Now, engineers and planners were among 6 donors mentioned as having fulfilled part of their pledges made during the fundraising event launched early in April. Here is more in this report. At the Finance Ministry on Thursday, engineers and planners emerged as a top contributor during the latest donor briefing, with a centralized arrangement designed to ensure that every cedi raised is transparently managed and used exclusively for the preparation of the Black Stars. Through its Chief Executive Officer, Ibrahim Mahama, the company made a part payment of $2 million from the $5 million pledged it committed to the Black Stars during the fundraising campaign. He added that the remaining amounts will be settled sooner rather than later, reaffirming their full commitment supporting the cause.
This is to say that we're committed to Ghana. We just did our first gold pour, and we sold it to the Bank of Ghana, which we are very proud of, to say that this was what our intentions were, to be able to support the country.
Another contribution came from Timeline and Innovation, as head of monitoring for the company donated 1 million Ghana cedis to the fund.
We made a pledge of $300,000. We have redeemed part of it, and we want to tell everyone that we are here to support the cause of the Black Stars.
According to the Ministry of Finance, all contributions are being paid directly into the official 2026 World Cup fundraising account at the Bank of Ghana to ensure strict accountability and proper allocation. The fundraising initiative, launched last month by President John Dramani Mahama, aims to raise $30 million to adequately prepare for the Black Stars ahead of the global tournament. Deputy Finance Minister Thomas Nyako Ampem provided further clarity on the way forward for the initiative.
If you pledged 5 million, it doesn't mean if you are willing to give us more than 5 million, we won't take it. So even though you made pledges, there is still opportunity to up your pledges and pay more to support our Black Stars. May God bless all of you. May God bless your businesses so that you'll be able to support more worthy causes in the interest of Mother Ghana.
All right, so that's the Deputy Finance Minister, Thomas Nyako Ampem, updating the public on the funds received so far for the Black Stars ahead of the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Well, let's get to the Ghana Premier League, and the action starts later today. The Chiman 11 Wonders are up against Bechem United. Saturday, we'll see Vision FC taking on Swidro Blacks. And then on Sunday, there's Nations up against Accra Heart of Folk, while Dreams FC hosts Kumasi Asante Kotoko in a blockbuster clash. Also, Diana FC go up against Heart of Lions, while Mediamas Sporting Club are up against BBN Gold Stars. FC Samatex 1996 will battle out against Basake Holy Stars as Kerala United take on Young Apostles. And then there's Hoho United also up against Brickham Chelsea to wrap up the weekend's fixtures. Well, let's take it to Europe, and former Chelsea manager Mauricio Pochettino says the club is now operating under a long-term vision that will take time for many to fully understand. He compared the current direction of the club's dominant era under Roman Abramovich, when Chelsea enjoyed sustained success and lifted multiple major trophies.
I think they have a plan. They have a plan that is maybe completely different that was that used Chelsea in the past, no, with Abramovich. Yeah. It's true that it's not easy because it's difficult for the people to understand. I think when I am thinking in new projects or in projects, I think the most important is how we can translate, and to show the which is the plan and what we want to achieve with that, and how is going to be the process to arrive where we want to arrive. And sometimes, because in football it's difficult to explain, because people doesn't listen, only listen result. And then because it's too many people making decision, because football I think is not ordinary business. Always I told my former President Nicola Cortes in Southampton, and I put him in my board in my office, football is no ordinary business.
All right, so that's Chelsea, former Chelsea boss Mauricio Pochettino speaking. Now to last night's results in the Europa League. Nottingham Forest have taken a slender advantage in their semi-final tie, edging Aston Villa 1-0 in the first leg. Also, FC Braga also secured a narrow 2-1 win over Freiburg to carry a slight edge into the return leg. Well, that's the very latest in the world of sport. For more, you can head to citysportonline.com and on X at City Sports JHN. Kickoff is proudly brought to you by Paul Tangana and Lachelle. Let's improve life. I'm Gabi Offer. Enjoy the rest of your day. Take care and bye-bye.
This is the City Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
If you need unique services, innovative financial solutions, we deliver on our promise, cause we are number one. Let's go, we improve your life. never stuck with nothing. No matter your situation, let's go, we improve your life. Let's go, let's go, we improve your life.
From now to the end of Ghana month, Polytank is celebrating with you. We are giving you over 1,000 Ghana cedis for free on our premium Sumo Super range of water tank in celebration of Ghana. Sumo Super is designed to last, giving you peace of mind for your home, project, or business. Don't miss this limited time offer. Visit any Polytank outlet today. Ask for Sumo Super and save over 1,000 Ghana cedis. Polytank, the original, always the best. Panono Ankasa. Beware, Polytank does not request for Momo online.
Cast your mind back to 2022. The prices were rising. The stress was high. Every liter of fuel felt like a sacrifice. Do you remember who stepped forward first? When others were comfortable with high prices, Star Oil chose you. We cut our own profits so you could keep your AC on, keep your engines running, and keep your life moving without the heavy burden. We gave you room to breathe when things felt tight. Because of you, our star savers, we became number one. Today, the pumps are a battleground. Others are finally cutting prices because they have to. But Star Oil, we do it because we want to. Don't just chase a price. Remember a friendship. We were there for you then. And with new innovations coming your way, we are here for you now. Star Oil, still quality and affordable fuels for all.
Welcome to IO Help Center. How can we help?
I just signed up to IO and I'd like to know the claim processes.
If you or your insured family member is hospitalized, get your OPD card, an excuse duty or itemized bill, a discharge letter indicating admission and discharge dates from a certified hospital, and a valid ID card. And if an insured family member dies, then you'll need a death certificate, burial permit, or a signed letter from a chief or pastor, medical cause of death, and a valid ID card. When ready, dial *296#, select the product you're claiming for, and follow the prompt. You will receive a link via text to send your document. For any assistance, visit the nearest MTN office or call 296. Know that claims are paid after verifications are done. T's and C's apply. Underwritten by Sanlam Alliance Life Insurance Ghana Limited. IO, because you care.
Ghana, get ready for the Ultimate Athletics Showdown, the 24th Senior African Athletics Championship. Witness world champions across the continent compete in thrilling track and field events like Kenya's Beatrice Chebet and Faith Kepiengo, Nigeria's Toby Amusa, Botswana's Colin Kebenachipi, Liberia's Joseph Fambele, South Africa's Akani Simbini, Zambia's Muzala Somokunga, and our very own Benjamin Azamati and Saminu Abdul Rashid. Don't miss the excitement from the 12th to the 17th of May 2026 at the University of Ghana Sports Complex, Legon. Senior Africa Athletics Championship. Feel the heat. Champions within Africa. This championship is powered by the Ministry of Sports and Recreation, the Confederation of African Athletics, and the Ghana Athletics.
Improve your gum and oral health with the new Nesta mouthwash from Ernest Chemists Limited. Nesta mouthwash comes in original and fresh mint for the treatment of bleeding or irritated gums, mouth ulcers, maintenance of oral hygiene, prevention of bad breath and plaque. Nesta mouthwash, great oral hygiene, long-lasting freshness. Available in pharmacies nationwide. Manufactured and distributed by Ernest Chemists Limited.
For decades, we have helped businesses connect with their trade partners all over the globe. From Ghana to Burkina Faso, Côte d'Ivoire, Benin, Togo, Senegal, China, Morocco, France, Netherlands, and many other countries. We have made it possible to bring Ghana to the world. We have brought small and medium businesses closer to their customers across the regions in Ghana with our SME support facilities. We have brought relief and smiles to the faces of families with our employee personal loans. With our cutting-edge technology and digital support, we take the burden of complex thinking off you, making life simple. That is who we are, as close as a partner. Bank of Africa, We are indeed the African bank with the global reach.
Auntie T, I beg, fix me gobetete Ghana. No gari, no oil, no plantain, just beans then eggs.
Hey, brah, that be dangerous combination, no?
Problem no day. I feel handle am.
For Telecel, with the Bob say everybody gets what they like. That be why Made For Me bundles day. Based on your usage, you fit get your own data and call packages. Fala! Made For Me bundles like the way you the want town. That *530# then buy Made For Me bundles today.
Telecel, connecting energies.
Your future starts here at Lexus University College, a place where knowledge meets innovation and dreams become reality. Guided by integrity, excellence, inclusivity, and innovation, we prepare students to thrive in a rapidly changing world. Explore our accredited programs: nursing and midwifery, accounting and IT, banking and finance, marketing, human resource management, ICT, computer science, cybersecurity, applied insurance risk, and data analytics. Admissions are open now. Visit our campus at Tema, Comte 25, Peasby Junction, or apply online at www.delexusuniversity.edu.gh. Call us on 055 1198 100 or 055 1126 448. Delexus University College. Be knowledgeable and innovative in science and technology.
The World Cup is coming, and this time you're not just watching it, you're living it. Much Experience Hospitality is giving you front row access to football's biggest stage in absolute style. Think VIP stadium seating, exclusive lounges, gourmet dining, and priority access. No stress, no hassle, just pure football luxury. This isn't just a ticket. This is the World Cup experience. With over a decade as an official FIFA sales agent, Much Experience Hospitality knows exactly how to turn a match into a lifetime memory. So upgrade your World Cup. Call 055 155 1119. Visit matchexphospitality.com or walk into any Absa Bank branch, our official banking partner, today. Much Experience Hospitality. Don't just watch the game, live it. Much Experience Hospitality is doing this with Absa Bank as its official banking partner and Glyco as your official travel insurance partner.
Sankofa, pepper soup where you know pepper sankofa, sankofa pepper powder, a shishi raw. Sankofa pepper powder, sankofa pepper powder, sankofa pepper powder.
FDA aji ejadi nkrato yatum.
Ghana, get ready for the Ultimate Athletics Showdown, the 24th Senior African Athletics Championship. Witness world champions across the continent compete in thrilling track and field events like Kenya's Beatrice Chebet and Faith Kepiengo, Nigeria's Toby Amusa, Botswana's Colin Kebenachipi, Liberia's Joseph Fambeling, South Africa's Akani Simbini, Zambia's Muzala Somokunga, and our very own Benjamin Azamati and Saminu Abdul Rashid. Don't miss the excitement from the 12th to the 17th of May 2026 at the University of Ghana Sports Complex, Legon. Senior Africa Athletics Championship. Feel the heat. Champions within Africa. This championship is powered by the Ministry of Sports and Recreation, the Confederation of African Athletics, and the Ghana Athletics.
Everybody is a winner in the Ungalicious Abiwa promo. Over 4 million worth of cash and prizes to be won. Just look out for the special Ungalicious promo packs. Submit 20 Unga powder promo sachets and 20 Unga shrimp tablets promo wrappers at any Unga redemption center near you and receive your scratch card. Scratch to review your unique code. Send to *713*27# and win instantly. Cash prizes up to 200,000 Ghana cedis. Deep freezers, smart TVs, kitchen appliances, and more. Promo runs from 15th April to 15th July 2026. Hurry, don't miss it. Terms and conditions apply. This advert is FDA approved.
Join the conversation on the City Breakfast Show on Facebook at facebook.com/City97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/City973, and Instagram at instagram.com/City973 with the hashtag CityCBS.
Unleashing the power of relevant radio. This is City 97.3.
When you feel like the road done and you know see light again. When the weight of life they press and your heart they full of stress. From the miry clay, he go lift you high, clean your tears, wipe your eyes. Though the night seem long and cold, joy is coming, this I know. Hold on, don't you fear. God is working, he is near. God no go shame you, he go make a way for you. From the dust he go raise you, put his glory all on you. Good health go come, prosperity go come, promotion go come, your testimony go live.
Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
When your faith begins to shake and your heart begins to break, God no sleep, he there your side. Every tear you see him cry, what he promised he go do, every word he go prove. It's small, make you see better days they come for you. Testimony go live. Go prosper, children go prosper. Everything will concern you go rise and prosper. No more delay. This now your day. Favor go find you. Blessings go stay. Go prosper. Blessings go stay. Go prosper. Blessings go stay. No more delay. He no go shame you. He no go shame me. Lift you from the clay. Put you on the rock. Blessings go come. Brighter day coming. When you feel like the road done and you know see light again. When the weight of life they press and your heart they full of stress. From the miry clay, he go lift you high, clean your tears, wipe your eyes. Though the night seem long and cold, joy is coming, this I know. Hold on, don't you fear. God is working, he is near. God no go shame you, he go make a way for you. From the dusty
3 after 8, another beautiful one from the stables of Leslie Monza. God no go shame we, God no go shame us. We love it. We're soaking it all in. And yes, testimonies are on the way. It's Workers' Day. May 1 is a holiday to celebrate workers and labor and reflect on the work of labor, right? And for us, we are having the family consecration service. It's happening at the Oil Dome at the Obechebi interchange. It's underway actually, so do well to pass by, join us and get involved. And we're having some quick reflections, right?
And your heart begin to break. God no sleep, he there your side. Every tear you see him cry, what he promised he go do, every word he go prove.
talking about the Ghanaian worker. How do you survive? How does the Ghanaian worker survive from the first of the month to the last day of the month? An interesting article is here. The Ghanaian workers' magic. How low incomes fund higher living costs. So this week we've heard a lot of people say, look, they leave home very early, they don't have water running through their taps, they spend about 1,200 a month to get extra source of water because what comes through Ghana water taps is not reliable. So you are spending more getting water, then you are struggling to find a bus that will take you to work. You've been in traffic for another 2 hours just to get to work. And then you close another 2 hours in Trotro. You get home, then the light is out. Charlie, how are you getting by? How are we really keeping up? And the other side of the conversation, people are saying times are hard, but every joint you pass, Charlie, boys they bumper, boys they ball. Girls are chilling and boys are balling. How are we doing that? How does the Ghanaian live this magical life of low income yet high life? I'd like to hear from you. 0539986996. 0539 0539986996. Let's have a chat.
Everything will concern you. Go rise and prosper. No more delay. This now your day.
In between the conversations, you have great music, your comments, your dedications, and great opportunities and announcements like this one from Biposo. Biposo says, do something special for your mom who has given you everything. This Mother's Day, give her a moment of true love at Biposo Wellness Resort. Whether she finds joy in creativity, gentle adventure, or peaceful wellness, there is a thoughtfully curated experience waiting just for her. It's designed to leave her with lasting memories and a renewed sense of ease. This is more than a treat. It is restoration, recognition, and care beautifully expressed. 020-055-7699. Call us and make a reservation. Beposo Wellness Resort, because she deserves everything and more. Well, that's it. This June, don't watch the World Cup. Live it. With over a decade as an official FIFA sales agent, Match Experience Hospitality brings you premium access to football's biggest stage with VIP seating, exclusive lounges, gourmet dining, and priority entry. No stress, no hustle, just pure football luxury. It's more than a ticket, it's the World Cup experience. Upgrade now. For enquiries 055-155-1119. MatchEXPHospitality.com is where to visit, or walk into any Absa Bank branch. The number is any Absa Bank branch, because they are our official banking partner. Glyco is our official travel insurance partner. Match Experience Hospitality. Don't just watch the game, live it. Are you dreaming of studying abroad or taking the IELTS test like some people I know? Have you ever been scammed or charged unnecessary fees just to submit your study abroad application? IDP Education is your prayer answered. Counseling and application support services are completely free. We help you save your finances while you secure genuine opportunities abroad. Your journey begins with IDP Education Ghana, your trusted global partner for study abroad services and IELTS testings. IDP offers expert free support for study abroad applications to the UK, US, Australia, New Zealand, Ireland, and Canada, helping thousands of students achieve their international dreams every year. Visit us. We are at Ako J in Accra and in Edum Nsrasi in Kumasi. 020-256-6614. Book your IELTS test today. Speak to your counselors and take the first step toward your future abroad. Once the alarm goes off, life is already asking questions. Campus, office, hustle, dreams all waiting to be chased. Those are the moments when you need something that helps you show up and keep going. That's why Cowbell Coffee stays with me every single moment. Whether you're grinding for that exam, pushing deadlines at work, or cooking up the next big idea, Cowbell Coffee gives you that creamy taste and rich coffee aroma to kickstart your day right, and you can enjoy it anytime, because success doesn't just happen overnight. It's the little moments, the early mornings and the late nights. And through it all, Cowbell Coffee Day with you. Cowbell Coffee with you every moment. Asking a question that I think is on the minds of many Ghanaians, you know, Kaka. How do we do it from the beginning of the month to the end? You're spending so much on water, so much on transport, so much on utility, you know, all the pressures. And in the midst of all that, we all complain also that Charlie times are hard. And the money, you know, the take home is not getting home, but still boys are chilling and girls are balling. So how are we able to put all these together? And I have an article here. I will just read through and then put things in perspective, and then we can just invite our listeners as well to join this conversation. I just want to know how you do the magic of surviving in Accra, Kumasi, Ho, Tamale, Hohoi, wherever you are, Takra Day, Takra, Cape Coast, and everywhere you find yourself, wherever you're listening to us from. We are happy to hear you. 0539-986-996. So Ghanaian workers survive a widening income cost gap through side hustles, borrowing. A lot of people, if you are paying them more, they say, wait, I have another number I have to send to you, so you send the money because they own it.
Line is why I say.
Bomb be that idea also, and it doesn't want to pay. So we borrow a lot and we sacrifice also, and it reviews how, this is on the High Street Journal, it reviews how low wages mask a fragile but resilient survival economy. So on a typical morning in Accra, the rhythm of work begins long before sunrise. From trotro stations to market stalls and office cubicles, millions of Ghanaians step into another day of labor with a quiet calculation at the back of their minds. It is not about profit or savings, it's about survival. The arithmetic does not add up, yet somehow it continues to work. This is the paradox that defines the modern Ghanaian worker, a reality that has increasingly drawn comparisons to magic. At the heart of this paradox lies a stark mismatch between income and expenditure. Now, according to data from the Ghana Statistical Service, a significant portion of workers, particularly in the informal sector, earn monthly incomes that fall below 1,000 Ghana cedis. Even within the formal sector, many entry-level salaries hover around 700 to 1,200 Ghana cedis. Yet, basic monthly expenses in urban centers such as Accra often exceed 2,000 Ghana cedis if you are considering transport, rent, utility, food, and the other one we don't even talk about, communication costs, data calls, Charlie. The numbers become even more striking when placed alongside the statutory wage floor. Ghana's national daily minimum wage currently stands at 21.77 Ghana cedis. So 21 cedis, 77 pesos. It's set by the National Tripartite Committee, effective January this year. It translates roughly to 580 Ghana cedis or 650 Ghana cedis per month, depending on the number of working days. An amount that falls significantly below the estimated cost of living in major cities. So if you are making an average expense of 2,000 Ghana cedis, if you need about 2,000 Ghana cedis to survive and you're working on the minimum wage and you work for the most days, you are earning 650 Ghana cedis. Just look at the difference. And a month. And ask yourself, how do people, fill this gap and manage to live a decent life or just survive? The question that emerges is both simple and unsettling. How do workers bridge the gap between what they earn and what they spend. Part of the answer lies in the structure of Ghana's economy itself. International Labour Organization has consistently highlighted that over 80% of Ghana's workforce operates within the informal sector, where incomes are unstable and social protections are minimal. And in such an environment, financial planning becomes less about long-term security and more about daily improvisation. Households rely heavily on what economists describe as coping mechanisms. These include borrowing from friends and family, purchasing goods on credit, and these days I see a lot of grocery shops. When you go, they say for credit, come tomorrow, and tomorrow never comes, because by the time you go there tomorrow, it is another tomorrow. You see, and reducing meal portions. Oh, Charlie, the cupboard is always plenty. And for a lot of people, Charlie, even when you can still afford your own meal, you make sure you finish the cupboard before you get to the protein. The protein. Because that's how you have it, you know.
Well, friend, bonsugudo.
You chop that thing and you fill it with water.
That's all.
So even our meal portions are suffering, and we postpone essential expenses such as healthcare. Healthcare really suffers because, Charlie, we have to survive. Now, World Bank, in its assessments of living conditions in sub-Saharan Africa, notes that many urban households survive through a combination of multiple income streams and informal support networks rather than a single stable salary. That sounded like a table, but stable salary. Inflation has further complicated the equation. Ghana has experienced sustained increases in the cost of living in recent years, particularly in food and transport. Now, data from the Bank of Ghana shows that inflationary pressures have eroded purchasing power, meaning that even when nominal wages remain unchanged, the real value declines. And in practical terms, the same 700 Ghana cedis that could sustain a worker a few years ago now covers far less. For many workers, the gap between income and expenditure is quietly filled by an expanding web of side hustles that stretch beyond the traditional workday, from ride-hailing after office hours to selling clothes online, baking on weekends, mobile money vending, small-scale farming. You know, and when you go to most offices, almost everyone is selling something. Whether they are selling, different things. It could be airtime. It used to be airtime. These days we all buy online, right? Yeah, they are doing Momo, they are selling clothes. Everyone's car booth has things they are selling on the side. We're always doing something on the side. What was once considered extra income is now a lifeline. Without it, Charlie, you can't survive. And the rise of this parallel economy reflects both ingenuity and necessity. Workers diversify their earnings to survive an economic reality that a single paycheck can no longer sustain. And the story goes on and on and on to say that as Ghana marks International Workers' Day, the celebration of labor takes on a deeper meaning beyond the
parades.
Thank you. Beyond the parades, paradise came to mind. Beyond the parades and the speeches lie a pressing national conversation about the sustainability of this magic. The sustainability of this Ghanaian magic. The ability of workers to continually absorb economic shocks without structural change raises important questions about wage policies, social protection systems, and the future of work in Ghana. So that's just the article I saw on the High Street Journal. The Ghanaian workers' magic. How low incomes fund higher living costs. Kaka, your reflections on this very puzzling reality. But let me start with the Bonsugudo. I really love it. Bonsugudo.
I mean, we are talking about how, because of some of these pressures, we prioritize taking in more carbohydrates, and then after you take water, you feel like, you are satisfied. At least it take you for a long, number of hours. But then this article actually details the struggles people go through daily to make ends meet. And I like the bit of magic, because truly it is indeed magic. And something came to mind. I was like, okay, how about the word magic itself in this relation? I break it down. So I quickly did some 1 or 2, and I would want to say that for the magic, M miracle management. Miracle management. That is just
managing miracles.
Because people on a daily basis are performing daily miracles with limited resources. I mean, stretching every CD or every little amount they have, they ensure that
we are always calculating.
We are always calculating. And in these instances, for the regular worker, leftover foods are new meals every day.
Yeah.
You understand? So that is the miracle. Nothing like a leftover meal. That is the miracle management. I'll use the M as. Now you go to the A, adaptability armor. Adaptability armor. That is to say that despite these challenges, when inflationary measures or things come in, as you read,
squeeze us in,
we are still able to adapt quickly.
Right.
That is what I will make the A to stand for. Then you go to the G. Despite all of these pressures, we still give gratitude and still ensure that our children, if I say our children, I mean I'm speaking in general terms, our children and all are able to have the daily nutritional things, the nutritional values, they need daily. Then I'll make the I to stand as inventive intelligence. That is to highlight on a point where people have now resorted to doing some what I term bojo. I mean, in terms of mobile money, going into agric, selling in office spaces and all of that, all to help in supporting to make ends meet, in creating that magic. Now the C will be collective courage, because I can tell you one thing for a fact, that Ghanaians are really courageous. Ghanaians are really, really, really courageous. And once they are doing something that is not illegal, but will fetch them revenue to ensure that this particular magic happens at the end of the week, they'll go ahead to do it. And so I think it's a very important discussion that we are having this morning, especially the fact that today is May Day, Workers' Day, and we look at all of these things and how some of these magic that's happened.
So the M is miracles.
Yes, miracle management. Miracle management.
But how can you manage a miracle? It tells you the magic itself.
The miraculous management. The management itself is miraculous because of the resources.
When we are doing our accounting, we factor miracles into it.
It's management, because every day you're going to perform a miracle. So you are going to move around resources, move around favors. The report talks about favors, coping, etc. You are managing the reality that you exist in so that you survive.
Man, it's hard.
No, he was taking you through again. So just
the miracle management, there's
then
adaptability. Then we are grateful people.
We are grateful people.
We manage to see joy even in difficult times. We're very resilient, and so we keep bouncing back. And we would say, the Ghanaian will tell you, Nyamebe, keep going.
That's it.
So that resilience also keeps us going through the months. When the take home doesn't take you home, you have a grateful heart.
That's right.
Miracle management, adaptability, gratitude,
and then inventive intelligence. That is being able to come up with new streams of revenue. I mean, the mobile money bit of it, the aspect where you do you know bojo or what bojo?
Okay.
Well, I tell me that in your body, in him today.
Fanciful edition. Because
the same thing. Okay, the same thing. Okay, no answer. The same thing. It works. I mean, being able to do something aside your main, stream of income, hustling. Yeah.
The GAS stuff they understand is better. Teachers, they call it improvisation.
And the galamsey bit. I mean, your sort of galamsey comes in, and then they see.
He just said something to you, but you go ahead. What's a galamsey? As in the official.
That one is between you and your boss.
No, that one. But we saw you last time, you were in some concession.
Here. Me, I work as a journalist and a lawyer. It is you and your boss.
Not illegal mining. I mean, disclaimer.
Legitimate concessions.
In fact, you and Bernard have the experience. You are better placed to even explain.
No, Bernard is a kingpin. You understand?
Yeah, so that is the inventive intelligence I spoke about, and then I'll take the C to be collective courage.
Oh, so we come together, collectively work together, and we are courageous in that collective effort, right?
Yeah.
So it's a lot of magic.
I like the frame that Samuel has put this in. It's a nice way of condensing the entire report into some understandable summary, and I think he's done a fantastic job. This report essentially is talking about how the Ghanaian worker is bridging the gap between their earnings and their expenses. You likely said how you take yourself home with the take home that cannot take you home.
Exactly.
I think this is an apt report, and this calls for a bit of expatiating this subject. And you look at how are we surviving. Essentially, the introduction talks about the focus not being about profit or about making money, but about surviving. Okay, and in as much as it is sad, I like some of the words that Samuel generated, the last word being the collective courage. So I'll come to that. But essentially, what we are earning may not necessarily support our lifestyles. And I think that all of us as Ghanaians will not find this as a revelation. I believe certainly that this is not new, we know. Okay. Some of it, and reading the report, so just to break it down, and the report talks about, finding means. And so you're looking at people will look for alternative informal means of making money or earning that will probably not be reported. Okay, so that's what you talk about, the galamsey or the side gigs. Okay, because we are also gradually growing in the gig economy. Okay, that there will be challenges and there will be its impact on the economy. Some people talk about the fact that it's not tracked, it's not reported, it's therefore not taxed, etc. But that's a side matter. So somebody who have their 9 to 5, but they are finding informal, unreported means to earn, and it's most likely is legitimate. And then the report also talked about borrowing. People are going to find ways to cope with the difficulty. So you're going to have a sort of a consumption that is on the basis of debts. Okay, so you are borrowing to consume, you're borrowing to pay your school fees, you're borrowing to service your car, etc. That will also create a certain loop.
So you're always robbing Peter to pay
exactly, and that financially is very terrifying. But that's something that people are doing to survive. Then you have what I will term as corruption. Some people will find unlawful means to, get their hands on excess.
The gap is so wide, some people feel they cannot legitimately close that gap.
So yes, it's what's within your reach and the opportunities that come your way. And so we're going, what is happening is that corruption will be an avenue for people to bridge the gap between what they're earning and what they spend. And there's also the other bit of why we are doing this, okay? In as much as we are surviving, we are sort of surviving in, and I say this with the greatest of respect, in a flashy manner. Okay, there's a lifestyle. It talks about it. There's a lifestyle that is associated with all that we are doing, looking for extra gigs, engaging in corruption, borrowing. Okay, and we're all surviving, but we're all trying to attain a certain status that, hey, we are fine, everything is perfect, life looks good, we've made it. That also creates, you see, that is in my respectful view an incorrect value to have, especially because the determiner is money. Because if that's your value, you're going to fund it. Okay, money is going to determine whether you achieve that value or not.
So you stop at nothing.
Thank you.
Just to make the money.
So we are also trying to, and you cannot blame us human beings because that is part of being social. That is part of being in society. It may not necessarily be good, but I'm not looking at the good and bad. I'm just talking about it as it is. It's part of being in a society, being in a group. And there's a psychosocial bit about it, because being in a community, being in a society, okay, we are all, in sociology, we call it the dramaturgical theory, okay, where we are all on a stage and we are performing to each other. And so life is perceived as the me. How, not I, me becomes subjective for you. So how the other person sees you. So you're living life. You pay attention to your image. You're living life according to how you are seen. You've created a certain sense of self, which is the image that you put around. And these images that we are creating in a capitalist society have to be funded. So you need the car, you need the bone straight hair, you need the makeup, you need the long nails, you need to eat in expensive restaurants and take the pictures to...
Even if the picture is not... Even if the food or the picture I'm taking is not what you ate, you go and take a picture of someone else's meal.
But Caleb, it's the psychology.
As yours.
It's the psychology of it. You see, we will downplay it as in Shushenim, we're trying to appear well, but it's also psychologically a way for you to cope. Okay, so that's what I'm saying. We're not looking at it from the good and the bad, but it's also a way for people realities. To cope. Okay, because the real life is beating everybody. Well, not everybody. Some can afford all of that. So it's beating us down, but at the same time, we want to show others that we are still persevering. We are resilient.
We are not doing badly.
We are not doing badly. We are not just sitting there idling. So we want to create a certain image. That image also psychologically makes us feel better. Okay, that I'm not some vagrant. I'm doing well. That image psychologically helps you, and you'll be surprised. I dare say it can even help you keep sane. Because nobody wants to exist in a situation of hopelessness. And that is why the introduction of the article, they made reference to what we're doing is survival. So it has its good and it has its bad. But at the end of the day, we are trying to survive. The ideal situation would have been that life would not be as difficult. But you see, what the author said about inflation, and I would even add the foreign exchange, especially for the Ghanaian worker. Okay, it means that the value of the cedi is constantly at siege. Okay, so 1,000 cedis today probably would have been adequate for your transportation for the entire month. But today, that depends on the strength of the cedi.
And whether or not the cost of fuel will go up.
Exactly.
Transport will spike.
So that depends on the cedi's relation to the dollar or the foreign currency. That depends on a number of things. Okay? The value of 1,000 Ghana cedis. Please, the value of 1,000 cedis in December.
It depends on whose hands it's in, though.
It depends, but it's still transitions.
Absolutely.
Okay, 1,000 Ghana cedis today, but in 2025, it's not the same anymore.
That's true.
That it's lost value now, and it can't get you the things it could get you a year ago.
That's true.
That's the reality, and so I wonder. How, I mean, we're able to, I wonder our spirit. That's what I wonder about. The kind of spirit, good or bad, you need a certain kind of spirit to wake up. There probably is lights off, which they are fixing. You probably don't have water. You have to go elsewhere to seek water. You go to the supermarket and the price of something has gone up. You kind of need a certain strong spirit to be
bouncing
a Ghanaian, to
day.
bounce back every day. And that's where he talks about the collective courage. I think that in as much as we cut corners, we are trying to do gigs, some of us are engaging in corruption and all of that to survive, there's a certain collective courage that keeps us going. And I think that is a good thing, and that is perhaps a mark of the Ghanaian worker. We may, as we go forward, probably channel it opt to channel it in the right ventures. But it is that courage that keeps us going, that will transform
The question I have for listeners will be, what adjustments you are making to cope, right?
To make ends meet.
Because if there's a
the lawful or the unlawful,
I want to hear all the adjustments that listeners are making in order to cope, right? And then how do they also fix the gap? So it's two things. At the end of the month, you see that your household earning is about 2,000 cedis, but your expenditure is about 6,000. That's a revenue shortfall of about 4,000 cedis. So what lifestyle changes or adjustments are you making in order to reduce your cost, and how are you what are you doing to fill in the blank spaces? We read that there are even nutritional sacrifices people are making. So you reduce the protein size, you reduce the meal portions, and all of that. Think about that.
Quickly, it's a junk. We are in an era of junk food, which is quite cheap. And if you want to eat well and
very
healthy,
costly.
It's probably going to cost you a lot. So I heard you were enjoying the carbo conversation. But you see, because the carbohydrates are cheaper, they also serve a certain purpose. But because they are cheaper, people will tend to take more of that. But once in a while, it will be good to sacrifice just a little bit to sort of balance it out with a bit more proteins, a bit more vitamins, a bit more minerals.
That's why we love Gobeno, the Gali, Yoke Gali. But you see, I want to take care of a few announcements. So just hold on with your thoughts for me. You have a few too. So let's just do these, and then we'll rope in our listeners as well. 0539 986 996. What adjustments are you making to cope with your revenue shortfalls, and how are you also fixing the gap? While we are having this conversation, imagine a world where your power never fails, your data is always secure, and your business never stops. That's the world Left Signature Limited is building every single day. From expert electrical engineering services to cutting-edge renewable energy solutions like solar and microgrids, Left Signature keeps your world powered and protected. Our data center and cloud services ensure maximum uptime, seamless connectivity, and strong disaster recovery, so your business never misses a beat. We also deliver custom applications, ERP systems, and AI-powered solutions designed to boost productivity and drive growth. Download the LEP Power app from the Play or App stores. Access the web version 0256 111 811. Leftsignature.com is where to visit online. Visit our office, Lashibi North Celebrity Estate, Left Signature Limited, driving progress through technology and engineering excellence. How come you have a few announcements?
Yes, a few announcements to do. What defines the strength of a woman? Her creativity, her ability to multitask, or her leadership? Discover Obasima, Stanbic Bank's women's banking solution designed for every woman in Ghana. Enjoy business incubation, China trade opportunities, and comprehensive financial and insurance support. Stanbic is here to drive your growth. Visit www.stanbicbank.com.gh or call 0302-815789. Stanbic Obasima, unlock your strength. Everybody is a winner in the Ongalicious Abenwaha promo. Over 4 million Ghana cedis worth of cash and prizes to be won. Just look out for the special Ongalicious promo packs. Submit 20 Onga powder promo sachets and 20 Onga shrimp tablet promo wrappers at any Onga redemption center near you and receive your scratch card. Scratch to view your unique code. Send to *713*27# and win instantly. Cash prizes up to 200,000 Ghana cedis, deep freezers, smart TVs, kitchen appliances, and more. Promo runs from 15th April to 15th July 2026. Hurry, don't miss it. Terms and conditions apply. They say the future is coming and we are shaping it. Join the continent's biggest fintech gathering at the 3i Africa Summit 2026 under the theme The Next Frontier, Shaping Africa's Integrated Fintech Future. From May 6th to 8th, the Destiny Arena in Accra becomes the heart of Africa's integrated fintech future. Come connect with founders, meet the regulators, and close the deal with global investors as we redefine how Africa transacts, invests, and grows. 3i Africa is proudly hosted by the Bank of Ghana with support from GHIPPS and the Global Finance and Technology Network. Register now at 3iafrica.com and be a part of their transformation.
And if you're managing your church or ministry, it requires a banking partner that truly understands your mission. Zenith Bank Ghana introduces the Zenith Church Premium Account, a tailored financial solution for churches and ministries. Enjoy free Sunday cash pickups, loans at concessionary rates, full cash management services, and expert investment advice for your ministry's growth. Let us handle your church's finances while you focus on transforming lives. Sign up for the Zenith Premium account today. Talk to us 054-2000-111. Visit any of our branches nationwide and sign up. Zenith Bank, in your best interest. The Lexus University College invites students, workers, and the general public, especially those seeking world-class education, looking for a market-driven professional qualification, or you want to top up your diploma for bachelor's degree. The Lexus University College is the best university to help you realize your dreams. We offer the following undergraduate programs. They are all BSc, Nursing, Midwifery, Human Resource Management, Accounting and IT, Applied Insurance, Risk and Data Analytics, Banking and Finance, Computer Science, Information Technology, Cybersecurity and Digital Forensics. We are at Tema Community 25 PSB Junction, delexusuniversity.edu.gh, DELEXES 0551198 is the number to call. On WhatsApp 0577734549. Admission is in progress.
You know, life doesn't stand still for you. It doesn't wait for you to be prepared. It just moves on. The best you can do for yourself is to prepare for life instead. A flexible policy like the Old Mutual Legacy Transition Plan to help build a legacy that offers you a cover-up up to 300,000 Ghana cedis with no underwriting, greater flexibility with no limit to the lives you can cover up to age 80, and an uninterrupted cover enabling you to secure what matters most in the simplest of ways. You also get to enjoy the flexibility to update your cover every 5 years. Exciting, right? Dial *3783# to request a call for the Old Mutual Legacy Transition Plan today. Let's get you a plan that works for you and your family. Old Mutual, do great things every day.
We're talking about the magic the Ghanaian worker cooks every month before they get home. By the time their take home finishes on the way, how do they get to the end of the month? So share your thoughts with us 0539-986-996. Henley and Partners, global leader in residence and citizenship planning, helping investors and their families secure nationwide residence or citizenship through leading programs worldwide. We advise on the best program for you and your family and assist with the entire application process. For many Ghanaians, the key drivers for seeking alternative residence and citizenship include greater global mobility, investment diversification, business expansion, access to world-class education and healthcare. Popular options for Ghanaians include Caribbean citizenship programs like Antigua and Barbuda, Grenada, St. Kitts and Nevis, as well as residence by investment programs in Greece, Portugal, Malta, UAE, UK, Canada, and the US. 0206042101 is the number to call. Ghana at henleyglobal.com is where to visit. Our offices are at the Galleria, Kempinski Gold Coast City Hotel. Come for free consultation. henleyglobal.com is where to find us. So what do you give the woman who has given you everything? This Mother's Day, give her a moment of true love at Biposo Wellness Resort. Whether she finds joy in creativity, gentle adventure, or peaceful wellness, there is a thoughtfully curated experience waiting just for you, designed to leave her with lasting memories and a renewed sense of ease. This is more than a treat. It's its restoration, recognition, and care. Beautifully expressed. 020-055-7699. Call this number to book your reservation. Biposo Wellness Resort, because she deserves everything and more. You know, the other part of living in Ghana that makes things a lot more difficult is how dysfunctional and broken the public system is. And I give you an example, right? If you move around a bit, you find that in cities where the roads are generally good and the public transport is efficient, right? people don't spend so much of their income or don't find so much money to. Okay, let me put it this way: you find people driving more simple cars with lower clearance, not too expensive to keep, and not too expensive to maintain. The parts are not expensive. They're very little sedans that people are moving in because, number one, the road is good. There are not so many potholes on the road, so you don't have to be thinking about your back pains when you are driving because the road is fine.
You mean elsewhere?
Public transport, yes. Public transport is also relatively affordable. So if you are not earning so much, you are not compelled to save up everything to buy a car
because certain things work.
Public transport is fine. All right.
Yeah.
Public housing is better. Accommodation is decent and affordable. To get something close to decent accommodation in Accra, it's punitive, especially in the center of town. You simply cannot afford it. If it's in Accra and it's affordable, then it's so indecent it doesn't even respect human dignity. And if it's far away, if it's something close to something you can afford, then it's really far away. So you're going to spend so much on your transportation, So I think about this health thing we discussed this week alone, right? The public health care is it's what it is, such that you have to
mess.
You have to work so hard, do so much more to have private insurance or to afford private health care. So I think that a part of the cost of living and the magic, we wouldn't be needing to do so much magic if our public services were just functioning and they were just a bit decent. Everyone is breaking their backs to take their kids to certain kinds of schools because you don't trust the quality of education that the public education, at least at the basic level, will be giving your wards.
And the report said that there's very little being spent then on healthcare because now we have to gather everything just to survive. You frame it perfectly in the context you're given. This is the standard of living as against the cost of living. And basic economics will teach you that it appears we can't run away from the dysfunction of the Ghanaian society, but because the standard of living is very low, basic amenities cannot be provided sustainably. Okay. And so every now and then there's interruption in water supply, electricity, transportation is a mess. As against elsewhere, Europe or America or wherever, even parts of Africa, you talk about Kenya all the time. You get it. And so because the standard is poor or very low, that is why the cost is also, the cost of living, that's what I'm referring to, is also very high. But I think that financial literacy, in as much as we're doing the magic, I think that we need to also invest in financial literacy. That's a good Our education must also cater for that, because if we understand money and how it works, it will influence our thinking and thus our conduct with money, so that elsewhere people may better understand money as against the average person, the average Ghanaian. So that's also an interesting aspect of this, that we need to understand financial money. Literacy. We need financial literacy, perhaps at the basic level of our education, so that instead of performing magic, or we can perform magic
in a more sustainable manner,
properly, with knowledge. You see, so that it affects the outcome.
Because the question on my mind is, when the average Ghanaian makes money, overnight, okay, so what's the first thing the Ghanaian is going to spend on? It tells you a lot about our financial literacy, that, if you ask people on the street, when you make $1 million now, what are you going to do?
I'm going to blow.
It's obvious. We want people to know that we have made it, so the first thing, it must show. it's not something we want to build legacy. That's the money will work for itself and bring. We have a consumption, appetite, and we have appetite for consuming.
Yeah, but for me, if you have the financial literacy and the systems are not working, you wouldn't be able to utilize or put into action that financial literacy. I make a point to say that, for example, if you have the financial literacy that has helped you invest in other sectors and gotten, let's say, 2,000 Ghana cedis as a side income, and then at the end of the day, the transport system is taking all of your money because you're not getting enough, there are not available cars in town, and so you have to go by the Uber way.
Charlie.
And beyond the transport system, the amount of food you have to buy.
Charlie.
I mean, when you do the calculations, you note that we have structural difficulties. And we are having this conversation, even assuming that even those in the public sector, the salaries come in. Imagine some public sector workers who work for months without salary.
People have 6 months arrears.
That is Magic Pro Max.
Happens in both private and public.
Exactly. That is Magic Pro Max. That is Magic Pro Max, right?
That's an interesting point, and that would add to the difficulty, and people will end up depleting their savings because the expected salary hasn't come, and so you have to dove your hand into your savings. But I get the point you're making about financial literacy not necessarily being the panacea.
I'm saying it's important, but the systems also need to work so that they complement each other.
Yes. So there's a reality of hardship but you see what the financial literacy will do is it won't necessarily solve your problems in a half. What it's going to do is it's going to help you make decisions. Okay, before you even decide on a gig to do, you're going to appreciate the value that is bringing you as against the time that you're spending on it, because the Caleb is grinning.
I like it.
You because your time is your life, and time is money. And what you invest your time in, you have to measure the return that is coming. If the value is not commensurate with the time, then you have to move things around. So that knowledge, the financial literary skills that you should
so it helps you with costing your value.
With putting value to the things that you're expending your energy and your time on.
Okay.
So you will choose rightly. So forgive me, you will not say what's the best. You want to be a footballer, or you even choose your career a bit more wisely, not just out of passion. It's good to choose it out of passion, but you also need to choose a career understanding the context of the country you exist in, the skills that you will acquire, the value that it offers, and whether people will pay for that skills.
Okay. At the end of the day, if you have the value, let's say in monetary terms, and due to structural inefficiencies, that money you have in your hand cannot do anything for you due to those structural inefficiencies.
So guys, I get your point, right? I get where we're going.
Just
please go ahead.
You see, the structural challenges are there. Ghana's problem will not be fixed anytime soon, but it will be fixed. But in the meantime, if you empower yourself, you can make decisions about rent, about transportation. Okay. When you understand how money works, your mentality will not be to overspend or spend too little. Okay, you create that balance. You'll be able to invest your money in other avenues. You make financial decisions and economic decisions, which will keep you at least comfortable.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had balance, and that excited me. Because I've read an article where it reports that a lot of workers today are looking for job opportunities where they can make time for other things, because it's been 9 to 5, long hours and all of that. Now people are actively looking for job opportunities where they can get to yes, they are looking for money, but their ultimate priority is their well-being. So I want to work in a sustainable manner that I don't end up breaking down. So what is my schedule like? Not just the money, but they are looking at work-life balance in a manner that is sustainable?
I think many employers are also appreciating the need for the culture of work-life balance and are putting that in place. But you see, I don't want us to also demonize the 9 to 5 per se, because before you get to the point where you can negotiate for some of these things, you need to empower yourself. You need to build yourself. And so you may have to go through the rigor of learning on the job, because employers will complain about inadequate skills of graduates, etc. So you also need to spend about 2 to 3 years building yourself, and 2 to maybe 5 years building and learning skills that can empower you. And as you get empowered, then you can renegotiate the terms of your employment.
So this is a mid-career kind of problem where people are looking to pivot and they are looking for what will help them balance all of their lives pressures. So of course, if you are starting early, at the early stages, I've heard someone say that what you don't have in speed, make up for in service. So that if you are now starting out a career, you don't have the speed to do work at a certain level because you don't have all the skill sets that your seniors may have. So you make up for that in longer time of service. So you are more available, taking on more assignments, doing a lot more things to make up for what you don't have in speed.
Because the plus to that is that you're building yourself. You're going to acquire skills that will be relevant in years to come.
So we are reflecting on how we are.
But I think, Kelly, just quickly, for young people, I think that for young people, I don't know if I'm considered young, but what we should do is to tap in the wisdom of the senior citizens, the people older than us. When you meet older people, yes, take your pictures, etc. But ask them these questions about balancing life. Okay, your purpose. Get a bit of education insights on financial literacy. Ask, how do I go about this? They will teach you things that will help you.
And we keep learning. Quickly, I'd like to come in. Sure. This week we spoke to George Chumesi. He is a super big brain on the media space globally, and that was during the Africa Media Bureau. He was a keynote speaker, and Bernard had a fire chat with him. So Kaka says we should spend time with the seniors and not just take pictures. So we'll spend some time with the seniors a bit after 9. We'll bring you a lot of that. Yes, but please come in.
So I was making a point that I'm glad health aspect of this conversation has been introduced, because looking at the systems and where the conversation is going, if you don't consider the health aspect, you lose yourself, in just trying to make ends meet. In fact, in 2024, there was a report where Ghana ranked 4th most stressful country for workers in sub-Saharan Africa.
4th most
stressful country in sub-Saharan Africa.
This is 2024.
This is 2024. I'm sure the latest numbers might be worse, right? And so that is to come back to the point that whereas Ghanaians are struggling and working hard to make ends meet, there's a health aspect we really need to look at, because if you to tell me that Ghana is a 4th stressed country in sub-Saharan Africa, that's a very worrying data there. And so whereas all of these things
the
are
other
happening,
countries that beat us on that.
Which country?
So again, this is 2024.
Yeah, 2024.
So it might not be the
Gallop
same now, because some of the countries that are even doing better than us now on this chart, right now they are receiving instability and all those kinds of Charlie. Mali day inside. Even like Mali beat us. But let me start. So Chad is the first ranked country as most stressful. Chad, Uganda, Tanzania, Ghana. Before Sierra Leone, Senegal, by all means, we have to beat Nigeria, because, living in Lagos and moving in traffic alone, that can be stressful. There is Guinea, there is Togo, there is Cameroon, Republic of the Congo, Zimbabwe, Benin comes at 13, Zambia, Mali, Cote d'Ivoire, South Africa, Gabon, and on and on. Don't forget, we're trying to ask you how you are getting by, how you are coping with your revenue shortfalls, what kind of adjustments you're making. Someone sends a message that summarizes it all. reflect the Ghanaian attitude, the collective something.
Courage.
Yeah, the courage. Collective courage.
Feel like we are surviving by grace. We are living by grace.
By grace.
Yeah,
every
grace.
thing by grace.
Good morning to all Ghanaian workers, formal and informal. I say God bless us all. Caleb, you want to know how we survive? Number 1, family bond. Number 2, friendship bond. Number 3, the pak grind. Pak grind. And then number 4, the Momo and fast loans. That's the savior. Above all, the Ghanaian always looks out for one another, and that's the beauty of it. But would you say, I don't know, this is a trick question, so you may not answer right.
Okay.
I'm seeing a rise in a lot of people are betting a lot lately. You read a story where some bank relationship manager took a lot of money
to go and bet.
Went to bet on it. I know it's a behavioral thing. I know. That's why I say it's a trick question. You may or may not. I mean, but people are getting maladjusted. A bit of it is habit also. Like you have just a habit. But I see that increasingly, Charlie. First, if people are betting, it's boys. Now, Charlie, girls all join the
they won't give you odds.
They give you the girls ready and get us past the boys. We all need a soup inside.
You see, there are some cases where some individuals are particularly addicted to betting. That is there. But then if you come to the aspect where genuinely people are trying other streams to make ends meet, and so they resort to these things, that tells you the desperation with which they would want to survive.
But it's the risks are high, you know,
really high.
To the extent that people sell their assets to go and bet, hoping that they will do better. It gets extreme. So I think that we need to manage these sort of things. It's very important. But there's one point, this one on workers, that I want to appeal to Ghanaians. I know we are trying to adjust. We are coping. The gap is wide.
Customer service?
Not even that. Say, when you go to borrow money,
pay back.
Charlie, if Ghana mark out to borrow money from you, you have to send them reminders. You have to explain to them. You have to first pray.
You have to explain why you need your money back.
You have to pray that they will pick your call or answer your WhatsApp, and then beg them that, Charlie, me too, now I need the money, so pay me back. I don't think it's good for trust.
Yes.
No, I mean, it's a fair point that you make. It breeds mistrust. But for me, I think that what is important is cutting your cloth according to your size. To sum it up, I think that if you do your utmost best to live within your means, then you wouldn't have to resort to some of these tactics just to survive. Know what you're earning, know what you can spend. Think about saving and investing, get some financial literacy education, and life will be okay.
Yeah, on that score, I think you've made a very important call that, for example, if you're a business and then you go in for money, you need to settle those ones, because we are here, some also calling for investments in the private sector, investments in medium, small scale enterprises and all. Most of these investors, when they come in, one of the things they look at is credit rating. They find ways and means to find out whether or not the investment they are going to make, at the end of the day, you pay them back their money. And so it comes down to the point where if you've gone to borrow money for business, at the end of the day, you need to repay so that more people can come and invest in your business for you to make ends meet.
On that note, if you owe me, pay. If I owe you, I will pay.
Is that a special call to someone? Because it appears we are hitting that point more.
No. I think it's a malaise with our society where people do not keep their word. And for me, the trust part is very important. You find that a lot of businesses, we do a lot of sole proprietorships and a lot of tabletop small businesses because we don't trust one another, and that doesn't help us scale up and take our businesses to certain levels. People have resources that they could invest into the businesses,
but they are scared.
Family members, even church members, mosque members, people of the same society. But once you invest your money in a Ghanaian's business or you give someone a loan, they feel you have too much and you don't even need it, and they kind of take things for granted. I have a few
announcements.
Yes, announcements. Before Abeku beats me this morning, Diamond Cement is all for you. When you buy anything, it's got to be the very best diamond. 42.5 grade. 42.5 hour grade cement was the highest quality cement on the Ghanaian market. We've done this since the year 2000. We've put smiles on the faces of homeowners, block makers, and supported numerous constructions with our high quality brand as rated green by the EPA. Now we have the affordable 32.5 hour grade, which means there's a good deal for everyone, great value for your pocket. You deserve the very best. Diamond Cement, your number one choice for all your building needs. Anyone who wishes to buy Diamond Cement should deal with the company directly. Locate us nationwide. Our factories are in Aplauta, Kradi, and Boepe. 0540-111-978. Diamond Cement is still as hard as a diamond. Social Security and National Insurance Trust SNIT wishes to remind SNIT pensioners that they are all to undergo annual pensioner certification in their birth month. Effective this April. Oh, April is done. We're in May. Hello? That means that there's going to be some penalties. Pensioners who were born in the months of January, February, and March but have not renewed their pensioner certificates will be taken off the pensions payroll. It means that SNIT will suspend paying your monthly pensions until you have renewed your pensioner certificate. All affected pensioners who have not renewed their pensioner certificate are encouraged to do so before the pension pay date. There are penalties for you if you have not done so by now. So jump onto SNIT's dedicated channels. That's the SNIT mobile app, SNIT branch, SNIT co-location bank. Mobility challenges, if you have any, you can receive assistance through home visit 030-2611-622. Visit any branch or use the mobile app and you're good.
Elevate your audio with We Hear by Low, featuring a vibrant range of colors like denim, neo, and black. Discover the full lineup, including the We Hear Pro, the only model in a series endorsed by Kylian Mbappe. Now, promo prices are We Hear 1, 400 Ghana cedis, We Hear 2, 900 Ghana cedis, We Hear Pro, 3,800 Ghana cedis, and that is the Mbappe choice. Order now on 020-195-7739 or visit Atlantic Towers at number 12 Afunya Street, Abelimpe. We hear by Low, feel the power, hear the difference. Now, the Mirror and Labadi Beach Hotel brings you a Mother's Day surprise. She is your first love, your first teacher, and your counselor. Celebrate her in a way she will never forget. Venue, Labadi Beach Hotel. Date, May 10, 2026. Time, 12 p.m. prompt. Rates, single 750 Ghana cedis, family of 4, 2,800 Ghana cedis. To grab your ticket, dial star 725 star 706 hash, star 725 star 7076 hash. For further information, contact 0548 019 572 or 0242 202 447. Looking for a burst of flavor in every sip? Discover the refreshing taste of Piva beverages.
Yeah,
enjoy the classic Piva Cola flavor. Perfect fit anytime. How about a fruity adventure? Try our delightful Piva orange fruit drink packed with recognized citrus flavor. Craving something exotic? Piva cocktail fruit drink brings the topics to you. For a sweet and juicy treat, grab our grapefruit drink and don't miss out on the refreshing Piva Tangy fruit drink, bursting with tangerine flavor. Piva Cola, Piva Orange, Piva Cocktail, Piva Grape, and Piva Tangy. Grab yours today. Available now at your local store or call us on 0550-032-2231. Piva Beverages, a taste you will love.
And let's talk about Jibu water. How many of you are tired of that last minute panic when your water bottle runs empty? What if I told you there is a smarter way, a way to have clean, reliable water delivered on time and actually save money? Jibu Water is the game changer. Ditch the hassle. We are one of Africa's fastest growing water brands, and we've got solutions for every home, business. Talk to us. You can exchange an old 18.9 liter bottle for our sleek modern 20 liter bottle at very little fee, or one with a tap for easy cooking and drinking. We offer free bottles and dispenser machines for corporate clients. For entrepreneurs, Jibu offers amazing opportunities to become a distributor, reseller, or even own a production site. That's a chance to invest in a trusted brand that's already in 8 countries. Find Jibu at any of our 10 production sites in Accra, Spintex, North Legon to Medina, Tema, and more. Stop worrying about water. Get reliable delivery, save money, and join a growing community. 020-984-5817. This is the smart choice for your water. Jibu, a better life. Let's celebrate the amazing mom in your mother's in your life. The amazing mom in your life this Mother's Day in style at the iconic Ghanaian village restaurant inside the La Palm Royal Beach Hotel. It's hosted by our mother of honor, the fabulous Oheneyere Gifty Auntie. Get ready for a fun-filled day of great food, laughter, and an electrifying dance session with the Ghana Immigration Band that will keep you on your feet. It's Sunday, 10th May 2026, 12 noon to 4:30 p.m. Adults 750 Ghana cedis, kids 6 to 12, half the price. Free makeup for first 20 mums. 360-degree booth and 3-generation photo sessions. Letters to mom wall, gift for every mom plus spin and win prizes. Come ready to eat, dance, and celebrate. Mom deserves the spotlight. Book a reservation now. 0268 710 684. 0268 710 684. WhatsApp at 0577 665964. La Palm Royal Beach Hotel, uniquely golden, traditionally Ghanaian.
Taking care of those 5 children?
Yes. You ask a question. How do I take care of 5 of them? Yes. You know. You know.
You have to tell me that.
Yes. But it's a movement. If you move, you pass here, you pass here, you pass here. Then you elaborate yourself. Then.
Should have come Casafe Juma. Never Juma. It is a wooden food to your piano. Yeah, piano. That's the one fan Kokoro no Abuana.
The Papa movement. That's the whole story. That's how people are surviving.
So Caleb, yes. in my advice, I was saying that cut your cloth according to your coat. Prof Ken Atefua says that. Number of non correct. So here's the expression. He says it's cut your coat according to the size of your cloth. Just to say it right.
Okay. Just cut it according to your distance. But
thanks, Prof. We're grateful for the feedback and thanks for listening.
Prof.
After all the quack mama has done, all the sacrifices she's put in, listen, let's celebrate her. Let's help you celebrate mother. This Mother's Day, we celebrate a love that never gives up, even when tested. Let's celebrate that quiet strength and endless love of our mothers. Think about the outstanding moments with Mama and share with us in a Mother's Day promotion, an episode with Mama. That's how we call it. Here's what you do. Send a message to 0539 986 996. You want to reflect on 3 things. Number 1, the moment you hurt your mother with a decision, a word, or an action that cost her so much pain, yet in her quiet strength she chose to forgive you. She chose to forgive that because you are her love, and her love for you was always greater than the pain. Number 2, think about the sacrifices she made, the things she had to sacrifice or went through so you could have more. The sleepless nights, the struggles, her own dreams she set aside just to see you move forward. Many times these sacrifices go unnoticed. Let us help you spotlight Mom for this. And now cast your mind back to that one defining moment, the Midnight Advice, the support, the action Mama took that changed your life forever. That single act that continues to guide you. This Mother's Day, let's go beyond celebration. Let's reflect, appreciate, and say the words that matter. Add your full name, your phone number, and your mama's full name to 0539 986 996. Send that via WhatsApp. Let's give Mama her flowers while she can feel it. An episode with Mama promotion is powered by Citi FM with support from Channel 1 Television and is sponsored by GTP and supported by Tekura. So we are bringing back a playback of that keynote address, seminal keynote address at the African Media Bureau, the Media Convergence conference that we held this week. It's his keynote address and his fire chat conversation with Bernard George Chumesi. Enjoy.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
Hello, my name is Wakadri, and I'm a man of many voices. Some people fall for Pamela.
Good afternoon, this is Pamela. We're revalidating some mobile app account. Kindly confirm your details.
Oh, my other victims who think I'm calling from.
Hello, customer experience here. Your account has been blocked. Please provide your PIN so we can reactivate it immediately.
Others panic and fall for that one. Dear customer, click the link in the SMS we just sent you to upgrade to your ATM services. My favorites are the ones who click first and think later.
Hey, Roddy.
Be honest. Like play, you could also fall for this. Stay safe. Remember, EcoBank will never call, email, or send an SMS asking for your PIN, OTP, bank card, or Ghana card details. Pay attention to detail.
EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank.
Sankofa pepper powder, sheshe raw. Sankofa pepper powder.
FDA aji ejade nkrato yatum.
So what goes into building quality structures? I mean, literally, what goes into it? Wujaf, you don't want to be sitting here somewhere worrying whether or not you did a really good job. It'd be very simple equation. If there's no diamond cement in the mix, massa, forget it. Don't start cry. Menye, diamond cement has been providing builders, block makers, and construction companies that peace of mind for years. Diamond cement is 42.5R grade cement. Unbeatable quality made right here in Ghana. And because we have your pocket in mind, we provide 32.5R grade so that everybody getting on. No long talk, Jack. If there's no diamond cement in the mix, don't start. Locate Diamond Cement Ghana Limited nationwide with factories in Aflao, Takrade, and Buipe, or call 0244-313-368 or 0540-111-978 or 0202-021-175. Diamond Cement, still as hard as a diamond.
This Mother's Day, we celebrate a love that never gives up, even when it's tested. Let's celebrate the quiet strength and endless love of our mothers. Think about the outstanding moments with Mama and share them with us in our Mother's Day promotion and episode with Mama. Send a message to 0539 986 996 reflecting on that one moment you hurt your mother with a decision, a word, or an action that caused her pain. And yet in her quiet strength, she chose to forgive you because her love for you was always greater than the pain. Or think about the sacrifices she made, the things she went through, the things she went without, so you could have more. The sleepless nights, the silent struggles, her own dreams set aside just to see you move forward. Many times, these sacrifices go unnoticed. And now cast your mind back to that one defining moment, the midnight advice, the support, the action Mama took that changed your life forever. That single act that continues to guide you all the time. So this Mother's Day, let's go beyond celebration. Let's reflect, let's appreciate, and let's say the words that matter. Add your full name, your phone number, and Mama's full name, and send to 0539 986 996 via WhatsApp. Let's give Mama her flowers while she can feel it. The An Episode with Mama promotion is powered by 97.3 Citi FM with support from Channel 1 TV, and it's proudly sponsored by GTP and supported by Takira.
This damn patch again. Ebo, look at this wall. Every few months, the same damn patch comes back. I've painted it twice already. What is all this?
Kofi, you can't fight moisture with paint. The problem is inside the building itself.
Yes. So what can I do? The house is already finished.
Simple. Gasem Super Strong Waterproof Cement. It's a new cement with built-in water protection technology.
Water protection?
Yes.
So it's just for repairs?
No, my friend. That's the difference. Use it to fix dampness and seepage. Or use it for new buildings, foundation, block work, plastering. One cement that builds and protects.
Wow. Gasm Super Strong Waterproof Cement. The one cement that builds and protects. Build it right once. Gasm, the nation builder.
Your skin deserves the best care possible. Introducing Princess Premium Lotion, crafted with vitamin B3 for all your skin types. Choose from our 4 luxurious variants: Radiant Skin with cocoa butter and vitamin E, Skin Revitalization, enriched with aloe vera and vitamin E, Healthy Glow featuring lemon and vitamin E, plus SPF 15 sun protection, and Skin Rejuvenation with carrot oil and vitamin A. Take care of the future you with Princess Premium Lotion. Princess Premium Lotion is your perfect choice. Available now for your everyday skincare needs. The GC brand, it's all about you. This advert is FDA approved.
Turn up your sound experience with the We Hear speakers by Lovi. From the sleek We Hear 1 to the powerful We Hear 2, and now the premium We Hear Pro. Fully endorsed by Kylian Mbappe. This is not just a speaker, it's a flexible, high-performance outdoor Bluetooth speaker built to bring your music to life anywhere. With up to 100 watts of music power, you get bold, immersive sound wherever you go. All available in stylish standout colors. Now the good news. From April 20th to May 20th, grab yours at a special discounted price. The We Hear 1 now at 400 Ghana cedis, the We Hear 2 at 900 Ghana cedis, and the premium We Hear Pro now as 3,800 Ghana cedis. Don't miss out. Call 020-195-7739 or pick up at the Atlantic Towers. You can also grab yours at Orange FM Kumasi, Plus FM, or 3 Music TV in Accra. Number 12 Afunya Street at Belengpe. Don't miss out on this special discounted offer. It's the We Hear promo powered by Lovi. We Hear, feel the power, hear the difference.
Looking for a burst of flavor in every sip? Discover the refreshing taste of Piva beverages. Enjoy the classic Piva Cola flavor, perfect fit anytime. How about a fruity adventure? Try our delightful Piva orange fruit drink packed with recognized citrus flavor. Craving something exotic? Our Piva cocktail fruit drink brings the tropics to you. For a sweet and juicy treat, grab our grapefruit drink and don't miss out on the refreshing Piva Tangerine fruit drink, bursting with tangerine flavor. Piva Cola, Piva Orange, Piva Cocktail, Piva Grape, Piva Tangerine. Grab yours today. Available now at your local store. Call us on 055-00-322-31. Piva, a taste you love. This advert is FDA approved.
P for Piva.
This is the City Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
Unleashing the power of relevant radio. This is Citi 97.3.
Mr. Chairman, fellow media owners and ecosystem design thinkers, deans and faculty of tertiary institutions, editors, industry regulators, and distinguished colleagues, good morning. It is a great honor to be invited to this conference by my colleagues at the African Media Bureau to provide a framework for our deliberations today with a focus on the future of media conventions in Africa. I do perceive that the future of media conventions in Africa will play out against a background of recurrent issues comprising declining audiences versus digital growth, non-African platform dominance, the slow adoption of automated journalism, and the naivety of traditional media owners. However, it's possible to turn the tide through a deliberate transformative shift of state-owned media assets from a fragmented landscape of siloed and financially sometimes moribund traditional outlets into an integrated and or consolidated digital-first public-private partnerships driven ecosystem comprising turnkey Africa-owned and or controlled connectivity and access layers, a data-predicated platform and distribution monetization layer, a culturally relevant creative economy value-generating layer, and capital and sovereign control layers. Altogether, these four layers will ensue in the effective inflow of financial capital and the capture of long-term commercial and social impact development value. Given the current reality of an increasingly blurry line between broadcasting, telecommunications, and social platforms, there's a very strong, albeit ad hoc shift towards the adoption of hybrid ecosystems, where traditional media houses in many countries, including Ghana, Nigeria, and Kenya, have been forced by harsh realisms to move away from legacy-only models toward a hybrid digital-first model. However, we must not make the mistake of assuming that a digital-first approach is platform-dependent. A digital-first business model does not mean posting our best content on Silicon Valley servers for free, hoping their algorithms would be kind to us. True convergence is not about putting a radio show on a podcast or a television news segment on TikTok. True convergence is the integration of intelligence into new culturally relevant algorithms, which speaks to Africa's imagination and aspirations. Within the context of that, it's about building a media ecosystem where the data tells us what the people need and how our journalistic craft can deliver content in a format that fits their lives, whether they are in a trotro in Accra or the farm in the northern region. In 2026, on average, most young Africans between the ages of 18 and 34 spend less than 12 minutes a day with what we still describe as traditional media. 12 minutes. In most cases, that same young person in that age bracket and his or her friends spend a lot of time consuming, creating, and distributing user-generated content by almost every meaningful measure for more than 6 hours a day. We see our kids do it all the time. 6 hours on platforms we did not build, governed by rules we did not write, monetized by companies that do not answer to our regulators, and increasingly moderated by algorithms that do not recognize our language, our faces, nor recognize our historical perspectives. The problem that we all face when we are my age is that what we describe as traditional media does not exist. It is dead, it's gone. But we like to hold on to that esoteric value proposition because we grew up with traditional media. We teach about traditional media. We converse around the thoughts of traditional media, something that has long departed from our ecosystem. So the phrase traditional media is itself a diagnosis. It tells us how we have come to see ourselves as the older generation of an industry, as the industries continually being disrupted by those younger than we are. It's a gentle phrase that allows us to speak about the forces shaping our industry in a manner that gives us a false sense of security. There is no traditional media for most Africans below the age of 30. It doesn't exist. They don't know what that means. There's only two types of media in that regard. One that has converged, and another type that does not as yet realize traditional media belongs to the past. The newsroom that still measures its relevance by print circulation or by the reach of its transmitter is not traditional. It is simply late. The broadcaster that treats its Facebook page as a poster board rather than a production studio is not traditional. It's invincible. The publisher that treats its website as the place where the newspaper goes to sleep at the end of the day is not traditional. It's a museum with a Wi-Fi password. In today's world, legacy is not a business model. It isn't. Nostalgia is not a revenue line. And the fact that an institution used to matter is not on its own an argument for why anyone today should care about it. I know what it costs to ask a generation of media professionals, people who have built their craft in master control rooms and tape libraries, to now think in terms of product sprints, retention curves, and audience cohorts. It's humbling work. It's also non-negotiable work. Consider the evidence. African content today drives roughly 30% of Spotify's global growth. And yet African artists retain less than 20% of the streaming revenue. That content generates. Nollywood produces more than 2,500 films a year, more than Hollywood, and yet we do not own the digital distribution infrastructure that would let us monetize our own diaspora audiences. African news content does generate billions of dollars in advertising revenue on Meta and on Google, and local African media outlets receive less than 10 cents on the dollar of that value. Maybe even less, maybe 1 cent. 10 cents is a lot of money in that regard. The FT strategies recently along the African Development Bank did a media investment fund feasibility, as did some time ago the International Fund for Public Interest Media, which is seeking to look forward, but not with Africa as its main focus, not with the traditional media that we yearn to evolve from as a focus. Fundamentally, it's a Western-driven agenda, which all be very good as part of the process, right? It doesn't really situate our intent, our purpose, and our need in the context that it's required in order for us to flourish in an industry which already makes money for us, which does not come into our pockets, right? So that study puts the aggregate opportunity to Africa's media ecosystem at $180 billion in shrinking advertising revenue, infrastructure gaps, and platform dependency all combined together. The root cause is not a mystery. It's this platform dependency. Africa operates as a content supplier to an infrastructure owned elsewhere. YouTube, Spotify, Meta, Netflix. These companies extract value because they control three things we do not. They control distribution, the platforms on which content is consumed. They control the payment rails, how users pay, and how creators are compensated. And they control the data, the audience intelligence on which all modern monetization now depends. This is the same structural trap that kept African raw materials undervalued for decades. The solution is not to produce more content. The solution is to own the infrastructure that monetizes it. To win, there are three key challenges that must be effectively tackled. First, mobile handsets have evolved into the primary screen. Whether it's radio, podcast, it's the mobile phone. It's supported by the traditional screen at home during family viewing when you're tired after work. But most of the time, everybody's on their telephone, right? Across the continent of Africa, mobile devices have become the central hub for news and entertainment, making mobile native content formats the standard rather than a disruption. For that reason, a recurring revenue sapping issue of fragmented consumption has come to stay. Consumers of traditional media have shifted in their preferences and given the choice of options available, from linear certainty to a mix of readily and or easily accessible non-linear streaming options, including free ad-supported series and short-form micro-dramas on platforms like TikTok, Facebook, and on YouTube. Second, global media firms are increasingly using multimedia platform strategies to consolidate their influence in Africa. For example, the rollout of 5G, which the likes of CNN, CGTN, the BBC, France 24, and Deutsche Welle can afford to deploy, thus provide the ultra-low latency and high bandwidth required for seamless, high-quality streaming and real-time interactive media. Furthermore, with secure satellite partnerships driven by Starlink and Amazon, it was Amazon Kuiper, rebranded as Amazon Leo, and other giant-driven companies with strong Africa-wide footprints, including Facebook and Google, are already well invested in bridging Africa's digital divide, bringing high-speed internet to rural areas, and ensuring that conventional news media services reach previously underserved populations, which, underpinned by the power and capabilities of artificial intelligence, are increasingly set to become the most powerful news media organizations on the African continent. Straddling content automation, audience analytics, supremacy-fueled misinformation campaigns, and local language translation supports, they are winning all advertising revenues. Third, the threat to Africa's narrative sovereignty. There is a growing movement to use converged platforms to take control of African stories. By building complete editorial and technological ecosystems, African media can position their narratives as levers of economic and geopolitical power. Even now, in 2026, the shaping of Africa's image on a Pan-African level and on the international stage remains beyond the control of Africa. Rather, foreign media entities have continued to play a phenomenal role in shaping the image of Africa. As such, we face the paradox in Africa that Africans do not present or represent themselves, and in our endeavors to construct a positive image of Africa, we remain challenged by a long legacy of negative narratives and an image of Africans stretching from the image of blacks in antiquity, the classical age, Judeo-Christian literature, and Islamic civilizations, to the crisis news that reverts present-day media coverage of Africa. Equally important, traditional media systems have enduringly functioned as major technologies of rule, both in colonial and post-colonial Africa. European missionaries, for example, in Africa, were among the first to adopt photography when the technology became available, sending black images of African heathenism, in quotes, and barbarity, in quotes, that unlocked the purse strings so vital to missionary support overseas. These images would inform European conviction that colonization or colonialism would be a good service to Africa. Radio was introduced to British and French Africa in the 1920s and the 1930s. Both colonial powers viewed radio as an arm of colonial policy, an instrument of rule, whereas the British moved to decentralize radio and provided a large indigenous component along the model of the BBC Public Corporation. The French maintained a tight grip on radio, welding broadcasting in French Africa firmly to France and seeing in broadcasting a tool to mold Africans in a French image, the policy of assimilation. It is not surprising, therefore, considering this utility of media, that in the not too distant past, most African post-independent governments would move quickly to control radio and other forms of media, especially in those era, during the times when coup d'etats were rampant. The first place the military would go to would be the broadcasting house. At the beginning of the 21st century, as we travel through 2026, Africa is faced with a broad set of challenges, from good governance, economic growth, developing human capital, promoting health and environmentally sustainable lifestyles, nurturing an informed and empowered citizenry, and deepening the roots of democracy and political participation. We strive to achieve these goals in an international context with global competition to attract foreign investments when globalization has intensified the flow of capital, entrepreneurship, and labor. On the internal African front, the end of the Cold War in 1989 has produced what has been described as Africa's second wave of democratization, and new and more sustained attempts at forging democracy. Right through till now, new nations were birthed just as older ones sought to redefine themselves. Other nations in this period did implode in this post-Cold War period as well, including a genocide in 1994 and civil wars within Central Africa and in West Africa. From then till now, media does still occupy a crucial place in all our endeavors to create an informed citizenry, not prone to manipulation, to revise the African's concept of what it really means to be an African citizen and personality, and within Africa, and to create a more positive and appealing narrative of ourselves, and to educate and entertain African audience with content about who we are, who we were, who we truly are, and what we can become and achieve as a united force of nature. Altogether, for a continent that has been greatly deprived of knowledge, the pursuit of a powerful narrative of ourselves through the power of an Afrocentric public interest media ecosystem with the potential of becoming an electronic classroom, bridging the gaps between haves and have-nots, rural and urban, literate and illiterate, male and female, young and old, is long overdue. Within the context of the above, the successful convergence of a myriad national state-owned media systems and private sector media entities into a viable ecosystem would not just represent a technological change, but a strategic and consequential paradigm shift that would influence and impact generations ahead regarding who we are through positive narratives that we own and control. However, with traditional ad revenues declining, and with most of Africa's national media entities fighting to survive through various ongoing experimentations with diversified revenue streams, including sponsored content and event-based monetization, our narrative sovereignty remains compromised. There are other challenges that our industry continues to face across Africa. Infrastructure gaps, including rural electricity deficits, and the high cost of data continues to limit access for millions. The convergence of different platforms due to the inability to adequately train a professional tech-savvy skill set from a journalistic perspective, and outdated policy frameworks and concerns over censorship in certain regions on the continent. This altogether, notwithstanding, does still points in the direction of the prospects that we have of achieving a converged African digital media ecosystem. It, however, lies in our ability to create an institutional funding mechanism. That's the first. The African Development Bank, the Africa Exim Bank, all our MFIs, DFIs, development finance institutions, do not prioritize media. But in Ghana, in July 2001, media was the act that constrained media was abolished at the time by Parliament during the time of President Kufuor. Right, media in Ghana exploded, and it's part of the fourth estate. Arguments go on, and fundamentally, politicians are questioned, and there's integrity in the voting system, and it's made our democracy one of the best and most enviable on the continent. Right, but it is not the case in Cameroon, nor in Central African Republic or elsewhere. In most places across Africa, media is a fragmented opposition tool on the one hand, and a propaganda engine on the other hand. And therefore, AU, African Union, all the things we do, does not work. Because we don't have that viable fourth estate, nor do we have the resources to make it work. So money is extremely important. Money will blend technology with authentic storytelling. Organizations that successfully integrate AI, 5G connectivity, and hybrid monetization models will lead the continent's new era of growth and narrative influence. For decades, much of public service broadcasting and academic work across Africa was subsidized directly or indirectly by institutions headquartered in London, Washington, Paris, and Bonn. The BBC World Service, Deutsche Welle, Canal France International, USAID, Open Society. These organizations have funded our media development. Most news agencies on the continent, without mentioning names, in Ghana and Nigeria, in Uganda, elsewhere, got started by funding from the BBC. The names changed across programs and decades, but the arrangement was familiar. They trained our journalists. They built our signals. They set our standards. They wrote many of our stories back to us, and we too often mistook that translation for authorship. We are very proud when our journalists win awards and they are designated to certain media entities outside of Africa. It's an achievement of accomplishment. That's a false narrative. In the last 2 years, that arrangement has begun to collapse. Washington has walked away from media development. USAID is gone in terms of its funding of all these mechanisms, right? And scholarship, kind of like grants, etc. Away from media development across this continent almost entirely. London is cutting its Africa-facing services to the bone. Bonn is restructured. Paris is consolidating. Whatever one thinks of any of these institutions, and I hold many hard thoughts and many grateful ones about each of them, the fact of the moment is not in serious disputes. The capital that much of African public interest media, the capital that much of African public interest media was built on is leaving, and the vacuum is ours to fill or to forfeit. Through whichever Silicon Valley platform, sovereign fund, or state-backed broadcaster, right, moves into the space the fastest. So we must not mourn the departure. We need to celebrate it neither. What we simply need to observe, or what I have observed in my 4 decades in this industry, is that there has never been a moment like this, a clarifying moment than this one. We have for the first time no fallback, and sometimes no fallback is the precondition for finally doing that which we should have done all along. I'll end here fundamentally because there's a lot to say and so little time to say it. Thank you very much.
George, your speech was very riveting. You took us very high, and when we were coasting, you just dropped the mic. And I didn't like that, but I guess you wanted to make a point about the immediacy of the challenge. Before we get into the speech, who are you? Right? Because how does a person who's described as the founder of this thing add philosophy, history, finance? You are talking about cultural, what you call it, something sovereignty. It was a very sort of nice potpourri. So what's your background and how did you get involved in media?
Okay, so when I was I had 2 uncles, a guy called Yao Chubesi and another called Patrick Chubesi. One was a sociologist and the other was a political scientist. And I got fascinated when I was a kid, reading a lot of their books. So by 14, I was thinking about Africa, and I went to a very engaging school, Brembe College. Your thoughts to think.
You went to a very what school?
Engaging school. Your thoughts to think. We had a headmaster called Mr. T.A. Osai. It was very thorough. So in my time, I went to first year in, I think, September 1972, right? And I was kind of thinking outside the box when I was young. So I realized very early that Africa was on the wrong track. The racism was real because I was brought up on Hansel and Gretel, the Marquis of Caraba, stories that had nothing to do with Anansi. And during my O-levels, I did fishing in Vancouver and stalactites and stalagmites. And I read about the Kalahari Desert. So I realized that something was fundamentally wrong. So I decided not to go to university, but to find a place where I could express myself philosophically. And I ended up at NAFTI. I was about 19. Then I watched 2 movies. The first movie was Yashmak. It's a Russian movie. There's a guy called Sergei Eisenstein. And I came to understand the Russian Revolution. Then I watched another movie called D.W. Griffith's The Birth of a Nation. It made me understand John Wayne and the Red Indians. So I started reading Kwame Nkrumah. And my uncles were very deep. And they thought I was university material. I had deviated, so we stopped engaging. But further down the line, after NAFTI, I decided to do Anansi stories, like Disney level. So I went quite far. I went to Disney, I went to Village Roadshow in London. I mean, I finished nothing, I just went to stay in London for many, many years. I realized that there was no infrastructure to drive content. And those days, it was mainly Sembeni. It's a Senegalese filmmaker. They were influencing the Fespaco and all of that, right? And it was attracting people like Walter Rodney and Paul Robeson, and so I became a socialist for some time in my life. Then I realized that there was an economic reality. Just very quickly, I got the opportunity to work for Central TV in London when I was a kid. Worked for a company called Filmfare. They did Paddington Bear and all of that. And I met this guy who was dying. He was the owner of the company, and he would listen to me talk about my dreams. And I didn't know that he was just invested in me. I had no place in that company. He just wanted to invest in me. So time moved on. He died. I moved on. And what I did in that company was a pilot on Anansi Stories. That made me understand the ecosystem. That made me understand that technology and ownership is the key. We were not taught that at NAFTA. We just taught camera angles and invisible lines, and there was no reality, right? There was no economic underpin to anything. So I started a company called ABN, and in 2000 I raised a lot of money, and before I knew, we were in 16 countries, and a particular program that caught everybody in Africa by storm was Passions. And that opened my eyes to the reality of a very poor ecosystem in terms of our state broadcasting. So I decided to devote the rest of my life to what I'm doing.
So building an ecosystem. So when you talk of a media ecosystem, what are the key components of that?
I just asked the gentleman to put a slide on. It might help.
All right.
So media ecosystems fundamentally require three things. It requires political ownership. It requires policy redux, and it requires media and the creative economy interventions. Over a period of time, to fast forward, I got the opportunity to attend a short stint with the Shorenstein Center at Harvard, and I stayed. I'm still a fellow there, right? That was 6 years ago. And during my life processes, I met a guy in 2006. This guy came to me and told me about technology being the future. I was very young, white guy from California. I didn't listen to him. He gave me his number and wanted to talk to me after one of these kinds of performative seminars. Further down the line, the guy is the owner. He created Uber, right? And had I connected with him, my life might have been different. Right? He was trying to tell me about ecosystems. I was trying to talk about a television network. And he was saying, you're wrong. So at Harvard, I met a guy who one day came to my studio, and he said, look, I want to talk to you. We do this weekly stints where you get all these professors in the fellowship talking about what they do and the future and all of that. And this guy said to me, I was hired by Google to develop YouTube, and I want to help you. And he gave me an ecosystem, one page, right? So quickly I came to understand that those days cloud technology was driving everything, right? And SES was the company supplying everything. So I studied DSTV. I studied Kuzbeka, the guy who drove Naspers to own Tencent, which owns WeChat, and which has created Africa's wealthiest company. I came to understand that it's about money. All these conversations we have in traditional media and everything, it's about money and technology and content. Then I had the opportunity of meeting with President Kufuor for the first time in 2019 in London. He's been the president of our country, but he's got a phenomenal mind. The most engaging mind I've ever seen, have ever experienced. And my reference points are my two uncles, who are quite intelligent. Yeah. Then I came to understand that he had unfulfilled dreams. after his post-presidency, and one was how Africa could be transformed, how media played a role. He had been thinking about that when he was the AU chairman. So our minds met, and he dragged me to Ghana to stay.
Which is how come he got involved in the Africa Public Media Initiative, which is fine. You've spoken about the 3 prongs of the ecosystem: government, regulation, and content creators. I get the sense that in these parts, we don't see the value of media as a tool for development or liberation or civilization. And I'll give you 2 examples. So you said in your presentation that a lot of the funding for media has come from outside. And also, even the setting up of media was either by the British or the French in these parts for a specific reason. When I finished the university in 2004, got a first class in economics. Most people were disappointed. I decided to become a what was I? Samuel was my first job. I was a national service person working in a new media house as a producer. Most of my mates were either working in big banks, Unilever or FMCG companies, or they were teaching assistants. So a lot of people felt like, how can such a fine brain go and work in the media? But in my view, this was my passion. I didn't even at the time understand that this would be a powerful platform to shape minds. So I bring those 2 to say that it seems as if, as a continent, we haven't yet understood what media means. It seems to me as though political leaders only see media as a tool of control of the population and for spreading propaganda. As a tool for civilization, changing mindsets, I feel like we are we don't understand. I think we don't understand it, but you can tell me if you think we do.
I will refer to a guy called Joshua Hadlman. In the 1930s, he started a movement called Technocracy Incorporated. He was Canadian, and he was kicked out of Canada. He was racist and everything else that goes with it. He went to South Africa. He was a pilot. I think he was a medical doctor of sorts, doing leg stuff. Yeah. He believed that bureaucracy and democracy were things of the past, and no one believed him. So he pushed his daughter and inserted into her subconscious a lot of knowledge about his reality. His daughter in turn had a son who she made sure understood mathematics as a weapon of mass destruction. And that guy's name is Elon Musk. Right. So Elon Musk, people hate him, but he's changing the world. That's why he's the richest guy in the room. The things he does and thinks about, most human beings don't. So it doesn't really matter what people think or don't think. The reality is that traditional media is dead. Right? And the reason why it's dead is something called Web 3. Everybody who knows Web 3 will understand that the world we live in has changed. You just Google Web 3 and read about it. Right? It's dead. All these arguments about data, etc., it's a waste of time. Look, 3 years ago, the guy Mark Zuckerberg, sat in front of Congress. They were going to question him about regulation. He ended up teaching them. Right? So you can't regulate genius. It's a waste of time. What I've heard in this room, and specifically from the gentleman and the gentleman there, is most encouraging. It just tells me that actually people are thinking, but we need an ecosystem in which our thought paradigms will make a difference. Right? And in this world, you see, racism is a function of knowledge. People don't care. So let's look at the basics. And to your point about media, right? It doesn't matter who believes it or doesn't believe it. You have a lot of influence with what you do. It depends on what you use with that. You choose to do with that influence. So media comes in the Bible from the Midianites. Persia, media, read about it in the Bible. Yeah? It's a powerful instrument. Some say it's demonic, right? But it influences the mind. So in that chart there, on the first thing, content fuels perception. Perception creates value, and value translates into economy. So it doesn't matter who understands. Let's put it in an ecosystem of thoughts. There are about, give and take, by 2050, 70% or 50% of the world will be African, right? We've got 188 million people, African origin in Brazil. And then the rest, who's monetizing the opportunity? Now Web3 has happened. Web3 speaks about, it's an internet, a new iteration of things. We had Web 1, Web 2, and Web 3. But what Web 3 allows is ownership, right? So what I am committed to doing here, as I don't know how I am, but whatever I am, right? I'm just committed to bringing about change through media, and I've devoted my life to it.
Why do you think a public media initiative of the kind you promote is the way to go? Because some would say AU is dysfunctional in a sense. They have not really driven anything. So why don't you think of a private sector-led initiative? Why is the public sector important in the type of media you envision for the continent?
Okay, so the initiative I'm driving is the Africa Public Interest Media Initiative. And I started thinking that way because I was intellectually influenced by President Kufuor, who did a PP at Oxford, right? Who's a lawyer and who is thinking, the guy is nearly 88 years old, he's thinking every day about Ghana, about Africa, and how change can happen. That's all he dreams about. He's legacy driven. I had the opportunity very briefly to meet with the current president. He's the same. These two men can change Africa. I'm not kidding. So let me go back to your question. There's a guy called Edward Wilmot Blyden. He lived in the 19th century. He was a black guy. He's the genesis, the harbinger of Pan-Africanism. Kwame Nkrumah knew who he was, right? And he adopted some of his principles. And Kwame Nkrumah spoke about the African personality. He achieved a lot. But one thing that did not happen is that in 1884, when Africa was partitioned, everything happened. But when we became independent, the grid of partition remained. So we have a dysfunctional continent with tiny iterations of countries. That's not working. We now have a tool, Web3, that can create a borderless society to take that grid, which has imprisoned our minds, off guard. And the only way we can do that is to own the ecosystem, the architectural constructs that allows us to create wealth. So when you look at this thing here, the second one talks about value creation. I'll speak very, very briefly about it. Nobody's spoken about, apart from you, nobody's spoken about Web3, blockchain technology, right? Or anything to do with tokenization. Put it in very simple terms. We sell cocoa. What's the value chain of cocoa? Right? All we do is we sell the seeds, yeah? Chocolates are made in Switzerland, right? We are trying, but we don't have the value. So media, right, as a tool, look at what has happened with the BBC. The BBC is transforming its ecosystem because FANG has taken over. FANG is Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Netflix, and Google. FANG? Yeah, they are FANG, like a snake.
Facebook,
Apple, Amazon, Netflix, and Google. They are transforming the world with distribution technology. It's as simple as that, and ecosystems, right? So what we need to do is, instead of going to all these Western Europe, why do you think Europe will want to develop Africa? Why? They've colonized us. You and I are speaking English here. Why should they? If you're an English person or a French person, and you've got so much wealth in the continent that's not exploited properly, and you've got elites going to the best schools and universities, why do you want to change the ecosystem? The only way you change that ecosystem, right, is to have a place at the negotiating table. So media and technology, right, functionally, right, is about content and ecosystems, right, to change the African mind. So if you look at it from that point of view, right, everybody in the world wants to make money. The British are dealing with the Chinese because the Chinese were able to develop an ecosystem. If Africa, which is the richest continent on earth, can rethink its systems of engagement, we will transfer. But just to add another point, our industry, fact, is worth over $1 trillion. And it's money in the ether. Nobody's touching it, right?
So we're talking about the future of media convergence in Africa, and I understand for you this thing is how it's going to be achieved. But we're also looking at the gap between industry and academia. And I suspect in your speech you were going to make reference to how to bridge that gap. You made reference to media labs as one of the ways in which that gap can be bridged, so that the training becomes more contextual and future ready. Can you elaborate on that in the context of media convergence?
When I speak to academics in Ghana, I get very encouraged by H.A. Sikanku. Right? He thinks differently. He thinks completely differently. He doesn't defend anything, right? Because he knows that the truth is that systems are changing, right? People who think ethnocentrically will not like what I'm going to say, but whether we like it or not, BBC has been in Africa for 100 years. We have a lot to learn from them. Harvard University has the best institution which converges media, politics, and public policy. We need those guys. But what we also need is original African thinking. Who has seen a series on the Asantwa Wars or ever watched a movie on Queen Amina of Zaria? Who has seen anything about Queen Zinga or a proper animation of Shaka Zulu? When was the last time you saw a TV series, animated series? I grew up with Donald Duck. Where's Anansi? Our content has not been produced. No one is going to put that money in. So we need to tokenize our industry. What's the value proposition of GBC? It's over $1 billion. We've got about 56 or 54 of them. How are we going to amortize the value to generate the capital we need, right? And the only way to do that is to engage in an indoctrination process where we are aligned in thoughts. So academics who differ because of nostalgia, right, will be left behind.
So when you say a media lab, I want you to stick to the media lab. What is it, and how will that create the type of content that you are describing?
Okay, there's a company called Andela.com, and then you've got Flutterwave, and then you've got InterSwitch. These guys are under 40 years old. They've created, what do you call those things? Unicorns, right? Worth billions of dollars, right? They've created these companies. We are sitting on an industry which, facts, if you really amortize the value of media, you create over $1 trillion, right? We've created what's called that thing, year of return. So what's about the century of return, where we converge thoughts through virtual reality to develop a new financial ecosystem, where we bring in Brazil, Haiti, to sell who we are. Joseph Campbell talks about myth and legend and power, where we create an African legend, where we begin to believe in our color and our identity, not as black people, but as Nubians, as Mandigos. It's media, right? So a digital laboratory is a function where you bring the newsroom, you bring an iteration of the creative economy, and you bring people who understand that model, who are all under 30 years old. So Andela is already doing that, Andela.com. You need to bring young people, a lot of them are in this room, who are geniuses, but have no money. But they have something far more powerful than money, knowledge capital. A lot of these young kids, you talk to them, they laugh at you. I've spoken to a lot of these kids. I go to places here in Ghana, talk to young people. They have the knowledge. They can code.
So is this lab incorporating like a media business with a university institution into one space? Is that what that lab does?
You have to look at the Indian Technology Institute, and what they've done with labs. But one which everyone knows is MIT Media Lab. It's a place where you converge ideas. You create digital entrepreneurs. You make people believe that they can create billions of dollars of companies like InterSwitch has done, like Flutterwave has done. You need to, money is not a function of change. But let me also say this here. African Public Interest Media Initiative does not glorify media. What is the public interest of the African? The public interest of the African, right? Kwame Nkrumah said he was the African citizen. But the public interest of the African, recently President Kufuor gave a speech in Abuja, and I was privileged to be there at the ECOWAS summit. It was to do with Murtala Mohammed. I didn't know who Murtala Mohammed was. He was an awesome visionary. So in 1976, I think he gave a speech, 76, right, about Africa coming of age. And President Kufuor was asked to make a submission as different from presidents had met. And he spoke about public interest, the African citizen as a public interest. So through media, we can have we've got the African American. So we've got to get the African Nigerian, African Ghanaian, African Kenyan, Africa, not Nigeria, where we converge around a borderless thought paradigm, one market, right? One market. So public interest, in that definition, is not limited to media. Media is just a tool to transmit that intent.
Where will the money come from? That's my last question. You said that money is drying up from the western part of the world, which is true. African development finance likes to do roads and bridges and power plants, doesn't yet understand the role of media ecosystem as part of our development. So where's the money going to come from?
Okay, African institutions, banks, etc., want to make money, right? So if they see money, they'll go. Everybody wants to make money. I will say this in very limited context. Look at blockchain technology and what it means. Yeah? And look at the futures markets, right? Where actuarists, you actually do a derivative, right, of the value. You're an economist, right? Value proposition of intent. So you can use blockchain technology to put a value on public service broadcasters who are all moribund in Africa. And if the value is $50 billion for say 10 or 20 countries, right, you can sell that value through tokenization to create the money you need. The African Development Bank is doing this thing called building a new financial architecture for Africa, yeah? And they've produced a report. Money is in Africa, in insurance companies, in mutual funds. They all just go to Switzerland, they all invest in Europe. If we can prove through return on investment matrices, yeah, that we can converge and people make money, the money will be invested.
Wonderful.
Citi 97.3.
Accra.
Citi 97.3.
More variety.
You are listening to Citi 97.3 FM, the city's finest.
This is the story of Anthony Owusu-Ansah and his delivery business, Shark Express. What started as one man's dream is now a thriving same-day delivery business that serves hundreds of families. Through financing, mentorship, business networks, and market access, APSA is helping businesses like Shark Express grow, create jobs, build futures, and deliver joy across Ghana. Behind Anthony's success isn't only hard work, it's having the right partner like APSA. From funding to guidance, APSA stands with entrepreneurs who dare to dream.
We see your story and we invite you to write it with us. Your story matters. APSA.
This Mother's Day, we celebrate a love that never gives up, even when it's tested. Let's celebrate the quiet strength and endless love of our mothers. Think about the outstanding moments with Mama and share them with us in our Mother's Day promotion and episode with Mama. Send a message to 0539 986 996 reflecting on that one moment you hurt your mother with a decision, a word, or an action that caused her pain. And yet in her quiet strength, she chose to forgive you because her love for you was always greater than the pain. Or think about the sacrifices she made, the things she went through, the things she went without, so you could have more. The sleepless nights, the silent struggles, her own dreams set aside just to see you move forward. Many times, these sacrifices go unnoticed. And now cast your mind back to that one defining moment, the midnight advice, the support, the action Mama took that changed your life forever. That single act that continues to guide you all the time. So this Mother's Day, let's go beyond celebration. Let's reflect, let's appreciate, and let's say the words that matter. Add your full name, your phone number, and Mama's full name, and send to 0539 986 996 via WhatsApp. Let's give Mama her flowers while she can feel it. The An Episode with Mama promotion is powered by 97.3 Citi FM with support from Channel 1 TV, and it's proudly sponsored by GTP and supported by Takira.
Ghana, get ready for the Ultimate Athletic Showdown, the 24th Senior